Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Xbox Nation. Glad you guys are here with us tonight. It's going to be one hell of a show, and we really appreciate you guys stopping by and spending some damn time with us. As always, it's much appreciated. I do have a pretty damn good panel tonight. It actually looks a lot like my old panel. You know, we do have some cool-ass people here. Let's get started. I'm going to introduce GKB the Governor. How you doing, bro?
What's up, man? Great to be back on Xbox Nation again. Got some awesome topics. Can't wait to get into them. Probably gonna break some hearts again.
Yeah, I mean, you sound enthusiastic as hell, man. I like that. I gotta tell you, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
yeah. Woo! I mean, people
bro.
that don't know your name either, they're like, who?
Oh,
Who's
the fuck
these guys?
that shit. And then you tweet out, like, remember their names. I was like dying on that shit up.
I was like, come on, man! I'd only do a podcast with these people like for a year straight. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
My icon says GKB on it, like
GKB. It's like in big letters. Yeah, like how the hell could you not get that? So, yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for being around and kicking ass. Yeah. And also we have She-Wolf. That should be easy enough to remember too, because there's actually not that many women podcasters. So yeah, She-Wolf, what's up?
I don't know. Apparently, I'm just unforgettable.
Well, I mean, come on. Everybody should know who you are by now anyway. You know, you've been on this show.
I don't know. But apparently not, though.
Yeah, no one knows.
I'm pretty sure I've been a pretty big part of the community.
Yeah.
But hey, it's okay. I don't mind, so whatever.
Well, it's good to have you here. You know what I mean? It's always fun to have you do the show and give your perspective and things like that. We also have Trollhammer as well.
I mean, I hardly even troll.
Yeah.
I never troll.
Yeah, you never troll. Yeah, right. He's like, X-Bone this right before we go live. And I'm just like, okay.
That's what it is. It's the X-Bone.
Dude, he has to get you in the mood, bro.
I know. And we've got No Chills Noof, lovely enough to stop to stop by and help us out today. Thanks for stopping by, Noof.
It's always good to be here, guys. Yes, you're in for another great show. Lots of stuff to chat about. It's going to be fun. And yeah, it's good that show seems to be working well at this point in time, crossing fingers, all that stuff. So yeah, let's rock this stuff. Got a special guest too, but Crap will introduce him.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the one and only. He good friend of mine. We do another little morning show together called MNC Mornings. You guys might have heard of it. Mooch, what's up?
What's up, buddy? What's going on? By the way, listen, it's been great. I'm actually glad you had me go last because you did a great cross Ron Burgundy meets Jay Leno in this introduction. With She-Wolf, when she was telling the story, I can see you reached over when Jay would kind of touch the female guests on the hand and be like, "No, really, no, it's okay, it's all right, no, really." And then Ron Burgundy, there, you're just like, I don't know, buddy. You just you're a flash in the pan. I love you, buddy. You're great.
Yeah, and I appreciate you agreeing to step in because in case you guys didn't know, Dealer is moving, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. So I was like, well, I'm going to see who can I get. I can get Rand, but no, Rand's busy. So I was like, hey, Mooch, even though I hate asking you because you already do like a million damn things, and we're getting ready to go into the busy.
Yeah, man, I was just talking about that. E3 is around the corner, and to be honest with you, that's pretty goddamn cool. This is if it wasn't for Jamie Moran's ticker every day, you wake up, right? 14, 13, 11.
Yeah.
Come on, he's the Ryan Seacrest of E3. It's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. You got to give him props for that. He's always like, E3 got me like this, and he's got some kind of meme or whatever, and it's always fun to watch. And I just think I'm really excited about this show. I think that the closer we get to E3, the more excitement's in the air, or there should be. There should be anyway. As far as if you're an Xbox fan, you definitely need to be excited about what we're going to be seeing, despite what a lot in the media or NeoGAF or whoever tries to persuade you otherwise. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just somebody goes, "Oh, Mooch is here, Megaton." That is a Megaton. I should have put that in the title.
You should have put Megaton in there. Wow! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark!
Hey, you know what? The true fans, they get it. You know what I mean? They're just like, "Oh, that crap gamer." You know what I mean? It's all in good fun. Me and Mooch do the Megaton thing. It has a little bit different meaning because one time we were doing something and we were making fun of it, and he does this really good Starscream impersonation going, Megatron!
It's really good. I'm going to save that for an MNC mornings because when I do it, it's going to screech people's ears.
Yeah, it's the funniest fucking thing, though. He does
good.
a really, really good Starscream impersonation.
I'm probably the only person that likes Starscream as a kid.
I thought that was pretty damn funny. And, everybody's just really, there's a couple different camps. There's the people that are super excited. There's the people that are like, Xbox ain't going to show anything. They don't have anything to show. And I got to be honest, I was in that camp. You can check my videos up until a couple days ago. I was sure. In fact, I write down titles for videos. I'll just randomly be doing something, picking up dog shit or something, and I'll be like, that'd be a good video title. So, and then I'll write it down. So I had
dog shit.
So I had this idea, right? Here's the title. I'll read it to you. The reason there's no Xbox E3 leaks because there's no surprises. Gonna be the title. Exactly. And then I got because I had been kind of down about it. Then I got a message from somebody who sends me actual Xbox documents, and they were like, okay, well, I've got something for you. Cheer the fuck up. And so I was like, okay, well, what do you got? So I got some information. I'm waiting on a little bit more stuff too. Unfortunately, it puts me in a weird space because if I do get stuff like screenshots or a title, I can share it with the people on the panel, but I feel a little bit maybe obligated not to share it with anybody else because this is their big surprise. Yeah, and I feel like that would be super shitty of me. Although I have to say that I got probably 150 messages. What is it, bro? What is it? And then of course I got some of the ones like, "You're just lying, crap. You don't know anything. You never get anything.
You're crap.
You're crap. You're just lying. Nobody gives you any information. You know what I mean?" And it's like, it is what it is. But I get some stuff.
Well, I can hear the difference in your voice, man. I watch your latest videos, and there's a different demeanor with Crapgamer right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could just tell that there's some excitement going on there, and it's genuine. It's not like bullshit or manufacture or anything like that. I'm truly excited about it, and I think that a lot of people are going to as well. We're going to wait for people to filter in before we hit on that a little bit. But I want to talk about Mooch's current favorite game, Friday the 13th.
Hell
and yeah. Like, I know we talked about it a little bit on some of the previous other shows, but Mooch, he was totally against this game. He was like, this game sucks. It's like this. It's like that.
Now he's a streamer. I'm going to stream every day. Like Friday
here's the thing. GKB's got a point. So listen, let's play the rewind game here. Let's talk about everything that happened from Crossfire till today. And my review is coming out tomorrow. I should have everything done. No pressure, J-Dubs.
Damn, your review is going to beat mine.
Probably. Well, now that I told you it won't, you'll see. I can see crap up until like 3 o'clock in the morning wearing this really long hat
right now, bro.
Yeah, just working around. No, here's the thing. So since we last left, played a lot more of it over the weekend. GKB was partly correct, okay, but it's partly because there's a huge asterisk here, and that's with friends. And that doesn't mean with friends you've occasionally met on Twitter or with friends you just stumbled upon over Xbox One, because Crap gave that example of what Timidos had said with Fox, that their relationship grew over Destiny. But Destiny is meeting weeks, months, years, playing these games over and over, these missions over and over and over again. This is different. This has got about 2 weekends. It's got the thrill of exactly what the movie was. Now, here's the thing. The game with friends, like when we played She-Wolf, GKB, what we had, Luca, Crap, I don't think Fox has it, but we all played. It was a ton of fun. Because here's the deal.
Didn't have it either,
nothing.
But we were...
So first off, it was. let me rephrase this so we don't insult anybody. We had Blue, TiVo, Game Down Sites, Mooch, Crap, me, GKB. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like Luca and Tom and Phil
and Peter and Paul. So wait, but my whole point, you guys are the one thing. So anyone that follows me on Twitter and follows me on YouTube, I am not nearly as good with like roll calling. Like She-Wolf is like on top of it. Like she would be like the best person to have as your right hand person if you were running like a Tonight Show. She would have everything organized. If you had me, I'd get like Paul McCartney mixed up with like, I don't know, if you had Jose Batista on. Like, I mean? Jose Batista, the great Beatle.
Or you're the one that would be if you had met like Mark Hamill, you'd be like live long and prosper, right? Like
exactly,
you're one of those
exactly.
Guys. Yeah, okay.
Starfars is up next. No, but so yeah. But anyways, my point being is, but with my name of people I was listing these are people that I do have routinely in a chat, that I do hang out with, that I do like the game with. These are people that are a lot of fun to play Friday the 13th with. The minute you're like with so-and-so and then so-and-so's roommate and somebody else that you don't know, it's like, here's the thing. When we were playing the game, it was like, is that Crap Gamer? Let's get him and kill him. You know what I mean? Like, and then the same thing, Crap, when he was looking at me, he's like, is that Mooch? I'm going to strangle his ass. It's like all this great, like, it's fun to like catch your friend and do these things. The minute you take the friend element out, the game significantly drops in fun factor. And here's the thing, and by all means, I'd like to hear GKB and She-Wolf's reference, because they give me the most resistance on it. Have you guys played just randomly with a bunch of like people you don't know?
I streamed for a whole entire hour playing with randoms, and there were people I didn't like. So if you're watching,
streaming doesn't count.
You guys are jerks.
Here's the thing, She-Wolf, I watched your stream. See, the thing is, though, you got to actually talk to your audience. You were talking to the people watching, and you're like, hey, so-and-so, no, I died, but I'm spectating. If you're not streaming and you're also not talking to yourself in the mirror while you're playing, like, there's no way in God's green earth when you die and you have to sit there for 18 minutes and you're waiting for so-and-so Susie Q, who's Jason, to come around and kill the other 7 people. You're just kind of bored. You're like, well, I guess I'll get a drink and wait. It's like, so the game is just really, really odd in that sense. Then you have the fact that the servers aren't working. Then you have the fact that it's buggy. You throw all this stuff in there, and then you throw the grand total of $40 on this thing, and you're like, wow, this is a beautiful mess.
I agree. I think I've played it like with randoms and stuff too, and I still had a blast because I really didn't know anybody, so I didn't really feel bad or whatever going after people, just destroying their face with Jason or whatever. But I get your point. Like, I think it is a way ton more fun with people, and especially in party chat. Like, I do not like playing that game without party chat because I think it's just absolutely boring at that point. Can't talk to anybody or anything like that. So definitely, I think it's more fun with people.
I gotta say this, because we played it when I first played the game was with you guys that night that we streamed it, and I thought that was fun, and we played it with party chat. Me and Mooch played it the other night when he was recording some, and we played it out of party chat a little bit.
Yeah,
and that was okay. That was okay too. Like, it was a little bit weird because you have to be next to people to hear them, or you have to have the walkie-talkie, which is kind of cool. So like, you had that potential to be kind of isolated or whatever, where you're by yourself for a little bit.
That works if you're not streaming. If you're streaming, that was horrible.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mooch, but you were the worst at like telling people. Like,
yes. Well, first of all, wait a minute. Okay, so I gave She-Wolf a compliment that she should be running the Tonight Show. She should not be a kindergartner teacher, okay? Because it was my first time as Jason. If the kid picks up a crayon in class, this kid can't even draw on the goddamn line.
What kind of shit is this? What is get out of here?
I quit. Screw these kids. No, but I was a terrible Jason. I have to agree with you, She-Wolf.
I have kids. Like, that's a horrible thing to say.
This was my first time with Jason. It's my first time with a crayon. Come on.
No, it's not your first time with Jason. No, it was more or less like, for people who say are used to like actually streaming and say talking to an audience and describing, like, for instance, you were talking about how like when I was streaming, I was doing commentary and stuff like that, and I was joking around with it because you weren't used to the game and the fact that you're used to usually having some person, like someone else, to kind of bounce off of when you talk and stuff.
Right.
It almost seemed like you were almost kind of lost during your stream because you were trying to explain what they were doing, but you didn't actually even know what they were doing because, obviously they couldn't tell you what they were trying to do. So you're trying to explain to people, but this is just anyone in general. This isn't even just you. I
know what you mean. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's kind of something like that. Like being a streamer, if you're streaming it, make sure you have party chat, or at least, you're really good at just like
talking.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Yeah. Oh my God, you're gonna die. Like you really have to have some form of something out there.
You gotta understand, Mooch is just too busy over analyzing how he's gonna kill you. That's what
I'll break it down for you. She makes a good point. Well, there's two things. So first of all, it depends on how you look at it. So there's times you get on and stream. There's times like when me and Crap do like Mooch and Crap stream on Friday, it's at 9:30. When we do that, I know that you got to talk to the audience. Plus, me and Crap do kind of like a little show there to have a good time with the group that shows up. But in this case, the one that you're talking about, She-Wolf, where you watched, and that was me just trying to get on and get footage for my review. And I figured, why not hit the stream button? But it was a Sunday night. I was not there to like completely entertain the audience. You know, and let's add insult to injury. So I also had no idea how to play as Jason. So I'm looking and I'm like, what's the eyeball? What's the little suitcase in the corner? And then there's like the warping, and then there's the hold RB and hit Y, which I still have no idea what it is. It showed Jason like putting a knife through somebody's head, but when I walked up to a counselor and did that, nothing happened. So I was like, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell do I do. And then as a counselor, let's be honest, as a counselor, it's as fun as being a counselor in the movies. You died. It was not fun. It was not fun.
You know what? When we first streamed, we did that party chat. It was fun because let's just be honest, somebody was screaming like a girl when they saw Jason, and it was
you.
Yeah, it was me. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what I mean? Because it freaks you out.
That's
so
great.
I totally get it that the party, if you're streaming, party chat is the way to go because the game is much more fun that way. Second of all, I haven't really been able to do public matches in that game since, but the private matches are where it's at, in my opinion, anyway. Just play with friends.
Right.
You know, like, but I just like it. I know Hal Emmer hasn't had a chance to play it yet. He's like, I want to play
it. But to me, it does look like one of those games that's sort of like Left 4 Dead or something similar. If you're not playing with people you know, it sucks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fair.
In a nutshell, that's pretty much right.
Yeah. But and I also like it's funny because Mooch was so against this game, then he gets a review code for it, right? And then thanks to She-Wolf. And
wait, excuse me, that's my set manager, She-Wolf. Thank you, She-Wolf.
So,
and thank you, Coca-Cola.
I help crap too, but
yeah.
No, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for She-Wolf and giving me the ability to contact the individual, I would not be able to participate in this except for extreme hatred towards it, because I just, to me personally, for $40, and listen, here's my problem, okay, guys, we have to understand, you know, everybody that's in this chat for the most part got the game via review code, and you've got to take that with a grain of salt. So that's why, like, there's a few people that like the game, they're like, Mooch, you're just hating on the game. It's not that I'm hating on the game. I thought we're doing a service for people that don't have the game yet. And that doesn't mean you have to be, my opinion has to be the say all end all, by no means. But like, that's why when me and GKB went into the huge discussion on Crossfire, you gotta buy it and try it and try, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not fair. Like, what kind of a review channel am I if I'm like, it's a 4 out of 10, but you should buy it because you gotta try it, you know? And it's like, people be like, this guy's crazy. Yeah. So like, I mean, I was like, I always try to speak my mind on it, and a lot of it is from raw emotions,
so,
right?
Okay, so then my biggest question goes to you then. Now that you've played it, if you take price out of the whole equation of it, if you don't even, because we all know the price right now is out, like it is out there. It shouldn't have been a $40 game without the campaign. Like, yes, we know the campaign is coming summer, but at the same time, there is always the possibility that could get delayed. So, and we don't know if we have to pay for that. You know, that's never actually been confirmed either. So, but taking that out aside, now that you've played the game, do you have a different form of opinion, or do you think this is still a game that people should not buy?
No, I do have a different opinion of it, but it's actually yes to both. I have a different opinion of it, and I still think you shouldn't buy it because I mean, my opinion didn't change much. Have you ever given your kid, anyone who's listening who's a parent, a little bit of Chinese food, and they take a bite of it, and at first they smile at you, and then they go, they spit it out. You know, it's like, well, I kind of smiled because it wasn't bad, but at the end I spit it out because it sucks. You know, and it's like, and that's the problem here. We can kind of go all the way around Camp Crystal Lake 2 or 3 times in this conversation, but at the end we're all in a rowboat that sinks and Jason kills us. So like, it's like,
unless you're GKB and you fuck him up.
Like, well, I will say GKB is very good at the game.
When I got my turn the other night to be Jason, I did a good job. I killed everybody. I was like, once you figure it out with the whole teleport thing and stuff, it's like here's the thing. When Mooch was the first time he was Jason, he could have killed me a couple times, but he overshot me with his teleport. Like, he ended up way the hell at the other end of the map. I was like, where the hell did he go? Like, I thought I was dead. Next thing you know, he's way at the other end of the map. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So, but I do think that the game is fun. Here's the thing. Like I was telling Mooch, he goes, because we were talking about it in DM, and I said, well, you know what? He goes, it's not a 9 out of 10 or anything. And I said, no. I said, it's probably a 7 or 7.5. It probably could be higher if it was didn't have all the glitches and stuff like that. And he and you agreed with that. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know
all the content up front, like the campaign.
Yeah. Like I can understand. Like this game should be $25, in my opinion. And with all the troubles, like I still see them tweeting out almost hourly. We're working on an update.
Actually, we just got. Hold on, I can actually read it directly from the dev. Hold on, he actually just sent an update to everybody in the Discord. That if you're in it, anyways. Where the hell did you write? Everyone, there's so many. Like, there's a lot of people
there somewhere.
No, there is. So he says, I hate to say this, but we have rolled out the patch. We have rolled the patch back. People are losing them after. I don't know what the hell he said they're losing, but it just says people were losing them after the patch. We're investigating. So the patches they brought out are now rolled back, people. So game's still broken.
And just remember, folks.
Whatever.
And just remember, like the panel said, this game is better with friends. And if you're struggling with finding friends on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, you can always go out and get those half-naked Patreon chicks to play games with you, and your problem is solved.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so he says, everyone, we updated important. To optimize the database further, we have moved character profiles to save the file system. However, once the patch went through, we had actually lost the character profiles that were in save files.
That's good news. Wow. Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's a bit of a mess. They probably should have delayed it and did some beta testing or something with it.
There was beta testing though. That's the thing. Like there was actually a whole bunch of
on console
beta
though.
Testing. No, it was on PC, but these problems are also on PC too, though. So.
But mostly the problems are on Xbox. There was that rumor going around that the Xbox version was
this would have actually. This game would have actually been good in the game preview.
Yeah. I agree 100% with that. 100%. Hey, Mooch, custom gamer picks are now available to Ring 3 and 4 insiders.
Buddy, I think everyone saw me on Twitter. I did the Shawshank Redemption picture of Tim Robbins with his hands up. Listen, finally to Larry and his crew. Listen, my whole thing with that is why? Why? It's a picture. It's a picture. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand what's taking so long. Like, they're rolling these things. Listen, the one thing that Phil is not a fan of is showing games too early. Like, let's stop talking about, like, perks too early. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have had gamer picks for, like, 2 months. You know?
I used to be fair, I used She-Wolf's tutorial and did it on the PC.
I'm going to use She-Wolf's tutorial that she did for the Xbox One.
I was like, hey, that's the best video you've done.
Wow, thanks. I've done quite a few videos, and that's the best one I've done.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? No, probably the best video that She-Wolf's done was that Walking Dead video, which the quality of that was top notch. You know, that's one of the ones where like you're like, whoa, that's really well done. But then,
she's talking about the season or whatever.
Yeah, and then I never did it again.
I know, but I can understand why, because like you put in a lot of work on something and it doesn't get results. Like I completely understand that. You know
no, actually, that's not why I didn't do it again. It just ended up being
a lot of work.
Well, no, actually, it was all the other videos I was doing at the same time, because at that time we were still doing like all of the playthroughs and all that. So I was trying to beat a game, get a video done like that for The Walking Dead. It was just like all over the place. It was crazy at that time. So
yeah. So, but I mean, that was a really good one. I remember me and Mooch were talking about like, hey, that was a really good video.
It was very good, actually. And I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I mean, crap, we're trying to get into a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what? I stopped watching that episode where the governor and Rick are sitting at a table the whole episode, and I was like, interesting. You know what I mean?
It got much better after that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why. I mean, I could always pick it back up because it's on Netflix, and like I could catch up pretty quick. But I did watch some of the one where Glenn got his head crushed in with a baseball bat. So.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert!
If you don't know that by now, and you're on the internet, and you're like really you need to deserve an award for avoiding that shit.
It's true.
Yeah. So, did you guys see the leaked Star Wars Battlefront 2 footage?
A little bit, yeah.
A smidgen, yeah.
Okay, so I mean,
Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff kind of got pulled, I guess, but yeah, but it looks really, really good, and there's some debate or not of whether this could be possibly like Scorpio or the equivalent of Scorpio. The game looks really good from what I've seen. What is your thoughts, GKB, since you saw it?
Well, I saw the one where like they were in that little tunnel and stuff. That's really the only one that I really seen. I mean, it was kind of a crappy video, so I can't really, hey, it looks like fantastic or anything like that. But I mean, it looks like Star Wars. It looks like Battlefront 2. So I'm excited for it. I'm sure it's going to have, a Scorpio version. So when that comes out.
Well, if you look at the, what do you call it? The freaking, the one guy, they've already confirmed that this game is on Scorpio, so they're going to advertise it as 4K on PS4, although it'll be probably
that's the new buzzword, bro. Everybody,
it'll probably be like 4K, or it'll be dynamic 4K, guys.
It'll be dynamic. It'll be dynamic because
dynamic 4K.
They're going to have to put a word in front the way that Microsoft's going to use the word native a lot. So when they say native, because they did say native 1080p a lot, so.
No, but they should have been saying dynamic 1080p all the time, right? Like, buy Xbox One for dynamic 1080p, right? Like, that would have been...
Well, to be fair, I think Microsoft should have had Battlefront 2, so they could be saying it's best on Xbox and showing the fucking thing. Like,
yeah. You know what, though? They can... We do get it early. There is that, and we also get it, we'll get the legit, like, version or whatever. I wish this would have been the game that they would have been able to announce on Scorpio, because... I've heard from 5 different people, including some people that you guys know, that this game is like a showcase piece for the Scorpio. Like it's 4K 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Like this game looks. Yeah, I mean this game is like the reason why people thought that Destiny 2 would run 4K 60, because Battlefront looks much better than Destiny, yet it runs at a higher frame rate too. Which it could have to do with the fact that it's a DirectX 12 title, and as you guys, GKB and Hellhammer, you guys know. Built into the Scorpio,
right?
DirectX 12. So,
processor.
Well, I also think that the DICE engine, the Frostbite engine, is far more sophisticated overall than probably the engine that the guys from Destiny are using.
You're telling me that Halo Reach engine isn't all built up?
Custom, bro.
Yeah, I mean the game's gonna look good on the Scorpio. I mean, it's obviously gonna have a patch, because I think going forward, pretty much every major game is gonna support either the Scorpio or the Pro or both.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, it does suck that Microsoft won't be able to show this off on stage. But they might be able to get away with. They might be able to get away with showing a little bit off more on EA stage by having EA Access and be able to show Scorpio footage there.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna have like a little teaser, like reel, like with all these games that they're gonna show as well, like what Sony does, and they do it like every year. They're gonna show like a little teaser trailer, but they're not gonna be able to like, get in depth with, hey, this looks so much better this way and this, that. And
I mean, but they could easily have. But the difference is, even though Sony owns the rights, I'm sure they could get away with because they're obviously gonna advertise, play it, 10 days early or whatever on EA Access. They could easily advertise, play it 10 days early, Xbox Scorpio at native 4K.
You mean their tweets that they're gonna do?
Well, yeah.
I don't know about their like marketing, but yeah.
I mean, I don't think that. I think that it'll probably show up on the EA stage, something similar to that.
They're not about that marketing life. We all know that.
Just so pissy with that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so like optimistic and happy about like E3 this year, and then I'm just so fucking pissed off that they couldn't get any of these games.
Well, I mean, listen, someone's got to play the other side of the coin here. Allow me to let's talk a little bit of common sense here.
Put your cape on, Mooch.
E3, yes, it's on. It's been on. It's a little warm actually. Here's the whole thing. These podcasts, the people on Twitter. The people that show up to E3, okay? People that are like, I'm going to E3. I'm booking a flight. I'm going to stay in a shitty hotel for 3 or 4 days because I can't wait to see an ad I've already seen. Listen, all these hardcore people that are going out there, that's fine and dandy. They're hardcore. All these people that you hear and read every single day, they know that multi-plats are on every system. Sales don't matter, apparently, to Microsoft. They don't care. They're making money on the back end. They're making money on service. They're making money on Havoc. They're making money on Minecraft. They're making money on different things. So if Microsoft doesn't care about sales, we shouldn't care about sales at this point. They're making more money than Sony. Believe Sony can have 65, 70 million consoles sold, and every game Sony makes has Havoc on it. Like, you don't understand.
I mean, that's fantastic for Microsoft and like their fucking paychecks, but that does shit for me, bro. Like, I want games. I want video games, bro. Like, that's what I want.
What do you? Whoa! We're talking about. Are we talking about the same subject? We're talking about the third-party marketing deals. You're getting those games.
Yeah, but there's nothing else. I mean, you're talking about like Havoc and all that stuff, which makes them money, granted. But like, where's all my first parties? Where's all?
Well, that's a different conversation.
Like,
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
if they're making all this money from Havoc and all this other stuff from Sony, how come they ain't taking that money and getting those third parties?
Yeah, here's what I'm going to throw out. Right,
that's a problem.
But they are though, and that's the thing. It's just that we're bored. We're bored of what we're seeing.
Like every third party game this year is Sony's. Like what?
Here we go. Wait, are we talking first party? Troll Hammer. Hold on a second. Give me a second. Because we're jumping back and forth. GKB just went from third party to first party, and he's back to third party. What I'm saying to you is the third party marketing deals do not matter. Because all those do for Sony is sell consoles. What I'm trying to prove to you is the money they're making on the extra consoles, Microsoft's saying, I'm not spending it on third-party marketing deals. We're making money elsewhere. Maybe the public doesn't see, Havoc, etc. What I'm saying to you is, now let me answer your first party part. Okay. All we saw last year at E3 2016 from Sony was a bunch of games that haven't come out yet. And we don't know if they're coming out this fall. There's no release dates yet. Okay? What you do know from Microsoft is you're getting Crackdown 3, first party. You're getting Forza, first party. You're getting State of Decay 2, first party. And you might or may not begin to Sea of Thieves, first party. And then you're going to see Phil show you 2 or 3 that you're going to get in fall of 2018. This is what he does. What Sony did was they showed you their entire portfolio and said, we'll get it to you when we can. And everybody saw that massive lineup of CGI trailers. The Last of Us 2, CGI. God of War 4 was a bit of gameplay, but come on. The talented people that they have, they put together a 3-minute walking simulator. I mean, come on, that was not a big deal to see, okay? My point being is that you're getting actual games versus getting promises.
So many fans out there loved seeing that stuff, and
they loved it. Of course they did.
On Console Corner last night, I seen it in the chat. Like, people want to see their 3 to 5 year plan for Microsoft. They don't want to see just a year out, and that's Phil's plan. People want to see what they're going after and what they're getting. They're not getting a third party. We haven't seen any first party yet this year. Like, I mean, I understand those fans out there that are kind of worried, because I'm kind of worried too, but I'm excited at the same time, because who knows what they have, right? And I think that's exciting. But at the same time, I hear you about Havoc and what they're doing on the back end and making all this money. But I want to know where that money's going to. That
I mean, basically, look, see on my end, how I see it, right? Like, that's all good and fine, right? For Microsoft, their investors, the people who are invested in them, a corporate to make all that money in the back end and that sort of thing, right? If you're not selling consoles or you're not marketing your things to sell your consoles, that means you have less player base on your system, which means at the end of the day, you're not as big of a target for people to want to port their games to.
Yeah, and I think Noof said it best a couple of weeks ago. He was like, I think Microsoft is just content with just sitting back and collecting the money, like you say, Mooch. But for me as a gamer, that's worrying to me. I don't want them sitting there on their ass and just collecting money. I want them to do shit for me.
But it's not fair. We're sitting here and we're bashing Microsoft and we're giving Sony credit, and Sony hasn't given their fans anything in that all those E3 games that you saw last year. Where's the release dates? Well, when are they coming out? What my point is if you're getting 3 games, you've been getting 3 solid first-party games from Microsoft every holiday, and you're getting anywhere from 0 to 1 from Sony every holiday. So what I'm saying to you is, what's the difference if you went to the movie theaters, GKB, and you just watched a bunch of coming attractions? You just go the minute the movie starts. You and She-Wolf just get up and you're like, I'm content. Let's go. I just saw all the coming attractions for the next year and a half.
But it makes me excited as a moviegoer to see
Bill's showing you the movie. Sony's showing you the coming attractions. And that's what I'm trying to say.
That's a big moochism, to be honest with you.
I think they're coming attractions and all that stuff, but they're still coming, and the fans still know they're coming. Yeah, it might be a couple years out, and I get that. And I'm one of those guys too that's like, I only want to see a year out, because I don't want to get too excited for games possibly could get canceled. Scalebound and fucking Fable Legends.
Fable Legends.
And that's my problem. And there's a lot of people out there, you can see it in the chat right now, man. They want to see more, and they want to see Microsoft be the beast that they are. And I'm just tired of it. And at this E3, if they don't show huge stuff, man, you're gonna see some problems. I'm gonna be out there and being fuck that shit, man. You gotta fucking do way better than that. Like, and their marketing right now is fucking terrible, man. There's nobody on this panel that can fucking sit here and say their marketing's been on point at all.
No.
Hashtag fire somebody.
And that's a problem, like, because they have Scorpio, the best fucking console ever fucking created, and they're not gonna have anything to show off. That's a problem to me.
They're going to show you that, and I don't know if I know you want to get in here, but I got to. GKB is throwing a volleyball up. I got to hit it. You know, my point is this. My whole point is that what you're saying is they're. Let me just counter your points. They're showing Scorpio and nothing. You're wrong. They're showing all first-party games, which gives them their biggest way to flex their muscles. A. B, you're telling me, and I understand where you're coming from, GKB. I really do, but you're telling me I don't care what kind of money they're making on Havoc, but yet I care about how many. You're telling me that you do care about how many consoles they sell because they're not getting enough marketing rights. That's still money. Money's money. $1 is $1. And I'm telling you this, they're choosing to spend their money differently. That's not sexy. It's not flashy. Sony's doing it in a much more traditional, sexy way, which is flashy games, posters, movie this, blah, 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 lights and shining, fireworks. That's fine. Microsoft's doing it differently. And actually, if me and you were investors, we'd really be on Microsoft's side, even though they're 20 million consoles behind. You know, they're still doing better overall. And that's why you see the executives they have a shit-eating grin and nobody's losing their jobs because they're actually making Microsoft more money. So when people are like, that's crap, they need to be selling more consoles. Each console that walks out the door makes Sony about $20.
I mean, I agree with you, Mooch. Like, it makes them money, but where is that money going to me as the gamer?
Yeah, I mean, look, they can make money all day.
Where's Sony's money going towards you as the gamer?
But if they're not investing things back into the ecosystem,
and I understand that there's a lot of people that like.
How many hundreds of millions did Sony pay for third parties this year? Like, and they're getting exclusive content. They're not.
What does that do for you, though, GKB?
Well, for me as a Destiny player, that fucking pisses me off because me as an Xbox Destiny player, I'm not going to get that content for a fucking year. That pisses me off, man.
That does suck, but it's
Are you saying
mission.
you feel like a second-class citizen as far as a gamer because of that, right?
Yes, and I feel like Microsoft could have went out and spent the money that they are making, like on all this Havoc and this, that, and the other, and got some of these titles for us as Xbox gamers.
But
and yes, people want to say I'm salty. You're fucking right because I want Microsoft to be fucking amazing and not fucking shit. So yeah, I'll be salty every fucking day.
I agree with GKB. And don't get me wrong, I think GKB's making some valid points. I really do because I'm a Destiny player and it's not cool. It's not.
GKB just turned green and like it ripped his pants and everything. He's like, ah!
Yeah, he started to sound like Noof that one time when he went on about GameStop the whole day.
No, you know what? Look, here's the thing. Like, you guys both make incredibly valid points. I think that Microsoft, if they fuck up this E3, there are going to be a lot of disappointed people, and you're already seeing people kind of abandon the platform or abandon their hope or whatever, which is weird because you're literally less than 2 weeks away from E3. It's like, hey, you can't fucking hold on those last 2 weeks till E3 to see at least what they have.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the problem, though, right? Like, that's, again, like, it feeds into the whole, like, marketing deals or whatever, right? Like, it doesn't matter how much money Microsoft is making, because Microsoft is always making a shit ton of money. That's just the nature of their business, right? Since they've existed pretty much. The problem is that if they're not investing back and they're not selling these consoles to people, and there's not big numbers to put up there, whatever, for console sales, all of a sudden you start to see the slip of third parties say, well, what's the point of putting this to Xbox when I can just do one single console and I'm done? You know, I already reached the 60 million or 70 million or whatever Sony is putting out there for their numbers at this point. I mean, and that also reflects back on that as well, right? We lose out on content, whether it's just one mission or whatever. That's how it all starts out, right? And then all of a sudden now you look at, say the Tomb Raider games, right, that were a year exclusive on Xbox. Basically, yeah, so it sold pretty good on Xbox, and it came out and basically kind of flopped around on the PS4, and that's how that stuff goes. And then that's even less people buying the content on our console.
Let's look at the different types of consumers that are out there. Okay, there's the hardcore gamer, which is the people that are listening, the people that on this podcast, people that do podcasting, the people on Twitter that you see every day. And then there's the casuals. Casuals are all about the graphics. I hate to be that simple. I really do, but there's a reason that PlayStation and Xbox both have visual sets at all GameStops, Best Buys, etc. Because seeing is believing, okay? And the point of the matter, Phil has tweeted it yet again today. Their gamble and every company takes a gamble, people, okay? Every company takes a gamble. Microsoft's gamble is when you see the big third-party deals this fall on our system versus the competitor is a substantial site that you will be able to see with your own eyes, and you'll say, holy shit, I don't have an Xbox Scorpio, I want it, or I own both, I was going to buy it for the Pro, I'll take it for that one. That's the gamble. And if you don't think listen, GKB, don't get me wrong, you made some valid points. But you have to understand, Phil has now tweeted that comment out 3 times, and you got Mike Ibarra posing next to that 4K chip again today. This is a big deal to them. And if you really don't believe me, a lot of people in the chat that are just, they don't agree with me, that's fine. Go ahead and watch Digital Foundries. The man on there is like the godfather of hate for Xbox. When he does the Scorpio reveal, he's almost got to have an entire liter of water next to him because he's choking on his words as he's complimenting Microsoft. I can't believe they did it.
My only thing though is like what you're talking about. Yes, okay, there's a lot of trueness to that, but when somebody walks into a store, like casual gamers, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, whether you're a teenager getting your first console or whatever, you walk into a store and you see that Sony has the marketing right to a lot of these big titles that are coming out. Yes, the Scorpio may be there, but when someone walks into a store and sees Destiny, Battlefront 2, it is when it comes out, and Call of Duty, all their titles are blue because they all say that PlayStation exclusive, they're gonna go to the Pro because they're gonna be like, oh, hey, that's on PlayStation. Because of course we all know how PlayStation works. They tend to put like exclusive on it, but at the same time they put in very, very fine writing for how like exclusive content or whatever. But that's not what they see. They see a blue poster with the words exclusive PlayStation on them, and then that's what's going to actually sell them those consoles, because those are 3 main titles. Those are 3 main games that their top YouTubers are all playing on because they get early access.
I think as we continue down this generation, though, She-Wolf, the word exclusive in gaming is like when you're walking in the mall and you walk by a jewelry store and you see sale and you're like, bullshit. Okay? Because every time you walk, right, a jeweler, 60% off today. Meanwhile, the thing's like $6,000. You're like, it was $6,000 yesterday.
But new generations that are coming to, the game, like there's going to be a lot of new generation like gamers coming up now from like, our kids and, other stuff like that. Like, and they don't know this stuff. They don't know what, we see all the time, that there's multiplats. Everything is multiplats. They don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention that the media rams it down your throat about exclusive this, exclusive that. Right. You also have the fact that, you're not going to have people go into say a GameStop, right? Even if they own, if they own a PS4 Pro or whatever, they go buy, say, Destiny this year. They're not going to sit there and be like, look at even a casual gamer who only cares about graphics.
Yeah,
they're not going to sit there and look at this an Xbox display and be like, oh my god, that looks so great. I'm going to go buy that Xbox Scorpio right now and Destiny for that instead of the Pro, because his friends and everybody else are all going to be on PlayStation.
If your friends are already on PlayStation 4 and they're already playing
PlayStation,
then you're buying it on PlayStation. It doesn't matter. The exclusive could be in green. That's my point. If everyone's already playing it on PlayStation 4 anyways, the argument is this isn't a discussion, because you can have Destiny exclusive rights on Xbox and they're still going to buy it for PS4. The damage is already done this generation. Crap actually said the best thing that Microsoft really could have done was make Scorpio the next generation, because then what you do is you say, okay, I want you to ramp every goddamn thing to 4K 60. You know what I mean? Or whatever you can do, devs. Do it. I want it for, because now I'm telling my consumer they need to have this box to play at this level. This mid-gen thing is kind of lost in the winds. This thing here is really just a premium performance box, and it's going to do a lot more things than the Pro. I have the Pro. It doesn't do much different than the vanilla.
I think what's going to really make the determining factor out of everything is going to be how much they are actually going to price this at. Because the Blu-ray player alone is technically enough to sell it, or the fact of like for streaming, you can stream in 4K and all that kind of stuff. Those alone can also sell it to a lot of YouTubers or, you know, whatever for streamers.
Yeah, content creators.
Yes, content creators or anybody like that. But it's going to be the price. That's what's going to be the determining factor in this.
So
go ahead. If it drops at a high price, then I already can tell you this right now. That's it. It's flopped. I mean, that's just my honest opinion. If it drops at a high price, more than
yeah, if it's more than $399, bro. It's,
yeah, I'll say $399 is where I would feel like super comfortable with.
But if not going to be more than $399.
Yeah, if it drops any more than $449, that I don't think that's pretty much done.
Well, before I lose my train of thought here, can I jump in with?
You're turning into a fan just listening because this is a hell of a show, actually, man.
It's fantastic stuff. We've gone over this to death, and I probably said it on a bunch of podcasts as well. But here's my take on it. This may or may not be right or wrong, whatever. I do want Xbox to do well. I mean, I do feel that marketing is important. It just depends on where you are in the game, sort of thing. So you all have very valid points, but here's a couple of things that maybe are going on behind the scenes. One, I think that Microsoft may have taken some of that money and they have refocused it into other areas within the division, like to get their services up to top notch, maybe back into Xbox Live infrastructure, maybe signing new developers and getting new IPs and putting it back into games, which for the last year, we've essentially cried about that they don't have enough games within the first party stable outside of Gears, Forza, and Halo. The other side of the coin might be the fact that, you know, Sony, they signed COD when we know they have those guys locked for like 3 or 4 years, so that was a given. Destiny, there may be clauses in these contracts that say Microsoft could go to these people, but Sony either get the first say, Microsoft can match, and maybe Sony gets to come back afterwards. We don't know like what's in these contracts. So maybe like Sony says, hey, we're giving you $10 million to market this freaking game. Microsoft walks in and says, okay, we'll do 12, but then they say, well, we get to go back to Sony because they do have this in their clause, and then maybe they up the bill. So maybe a lot of these deals just don't make sense for Phil. Like, I mean, he wants to get the deals, I'm sure, but he doesn't want to basically pay out the ass for a gamble, something that may or may not pay off. Like, he could spend all the money in the world on a marketing deal right now on a big game, and it might still sell better on the PlayStation anyway. And then how do you weigh out an investment like that? Say you did get the Battlefront deal and it sells $4 million on Xbox and it sells $12 million over on PlayStation. You're going to feel like you just lost all that money. But I understand where you're going. And the other side might be Xbox is kind of a ways back now in terms of its sales numbers. I think we kind of get that. So I don't know if there's a way to really catch up per se. But maybe they're taking a Nintendo approach. Nobody's really giving Nintendo grief. Right, Nintendo's not spending like a shitload of money on marketing anybody else's games either. Like they rely on their own titles, and that's maybe where Microsoft is going.
Well, I mean, the difference is though, right, is that Nintendo doesn't. They've basically kind of been out of the whole race, like with the major competitors since basically the Wii came out. Right, like I mean, yeah, the Wii was one of the best sellers of all time, but they put themselves in a different position than the standard game consoles. They always have that little bit of a, you know, kind of gimmick or whatever you want to call it. And not only that, but Nintendo games basically sell themselves. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what it's on. People are going to buy it because it's a Nintendo game. Everybody knows Mario. Everybody knows Zelda. Everybody knows Metroid, whatever.
But to GKB's point, when you don't have these marketing deals and you are trying to basically launch and promote your best new system, and you can't even show off half of this stuff, how do
you go about showing the best version of this game when you cannot show it due to marketing deals? Like that's my problem. Like,
but you guys are talking about a stage presence of 90 minutes. The showing that you're talking about that we would see on stage is literally, and I shit you not, it is literally 2.5 to 3.5 minutes. Like, that 3-minute stance on stage is not enough.
Of like Destiny or, you know, Battlefront 2 and all that stuff on there, like that goes a long way. Like, it shows the casuals and stuff like that hey, maybe that's just on Xbox like they do with Sony and stuff like that. It's a big deal for like Xbox, and I feel like it's a misstep for them. Like,
yeah, it's not even just about them showing stuff on E3, right? It's about the marketing throughout the rest of the year too, up until launch.
Yeah, honestly, nobody was and seeing like fucking Sony goddamn marketing on every goddamn video.
2013
Xbox ones.
2013 E3 when Call of Duty was on Microsoft stage and Assassin's Creed, nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal. It's because the narrative's changed. Microsoft could have all of these, but before Scorpio was mentioned, it was like, you go ahead and enjoy your posters you're gonna get for free and your free scarf on Destiny. I'm playing the better version on PS4. Now it's like, wait a minute, no, we have the better version. They're like, I need that scarf. Like, what are we talking about?
Well,
like,
it's not a matter of that. We need that. It's a matter of if you're trying to if you're seriously trying to market a new console. Right. You got to have something to show off to it besides just your first party title.
It's only 4 minutes though, Hellhammer.
But it's not just those 4 minutes for people, man. Like it's multiple games that you could be showing off.
Yeah, and it's not even just those 4. It's not even just the 4 minutes. It's the whole aspect of all the way up to this game launches. Is advertisements everywhere, all the way up until the game launches, and even after it launches, shortly after.
Okay, well,
that's the difference.
Let me say this real quick, okay? Because everybody's making pretty good points. I don't really think there's anybody that's specifically wrong here, but
nobody's wrong.
Let me just point this out. Microsoft has made some mistakes with who they backed as far as advertising, right? Like they backed Evolve. That was a bad idea. You know what I mean? They backed the Division. Mooch, I mean, the Division. You know,
look, I'm not saying they didn't pick the right company, but don't forget though. Let's not say they backed the Division. Let's not say they backed Evolve. Evolve and the Division, they got for like, they took the developers out to lunch and they're like, yeah, this is good enough.
They did get 30-day advance stuff on. They got 30-day advance. Just like kind of Sony does with Call of Duty. They got Division content early.
You can't really blame Microsoft for the Division side though, right? Because when that game came out, before that it had so much hype and that sort of thing, and within the first couple of days of it being out, people were all of a sudden calling it the next Destiny and all this other stuff for a little bit until it died.
It took a week
Division
to die.
sold like record numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For those first couple of days, people were like, "Wow, this is going to overtake Destiny. This is going to overtake this." And then it's just like fell on its face halfway through the race.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. I think that what Microsoft needs to do is take a look at what Sony has done. And here's the thing. Going back to your point that was originally my point, Mooch, was if the Scorpio was a new generation console and they marketed it like that, people are willing to start over and buy a next generation console, right? No matter what their friends have, right? When the new thing comes out, they're like, I'm going to buy this. And then your friends will buy it too. This being just an Xbox One souped up, that doesn't force people to buy one. So the person that has a PS4, like that's going to be a bit of a problem. Second of all, you could have had the only
PS4. Like they launched the PS4 Pro and sales were lackluster because people didn't find the value in it. Like
well, also you also just had the Xbox One S that released, which also has a lot of upgraded features as well. So it would have been smarter to come out and say that like this is the next generation of console, in my opinion.
Yeah, like that would have been the smart part to me. And then also that way they could have done something like went to Bungie and worked with them to say, hey, let's make sure this fucker's 60 FPS on our
it's hard to come out though this early and say that it's a next generation, right? Especially when, I mean, honestly,
listen, laptops do it all the time.
Nintendo did it.
Yeah,
but I understand that, right? But here's the thing, right? When Microsoft originally came out here, even a couple of years in after Microsoft changed their narrative, they said that this is supposed to be a 6 to 10 year life cycle console.
Well, I mean,
that's what everybody was claiming, even on the PS4 side. 6 to 10 years on these consoles.
They could still support the Xbox One, though. That doesn't mean that they have to drop support. But I think that what they could do at that point was be the only console that does 4K 60 FPS on a game like Destiny 2. You know, like to me, that would have made a little bit more sense, and people would drop what they're doing to get it.
But you would still be having these issues, right? Because it's the same. Because if they came out this early and said, okay, this is a whole new generation, right? Sony's still a couple years out. Nintendo doesn't really matter as far as.
Here's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, guys, you got to realize this, and I think I've given a couple of points to at least you can nibble on it and understand. Is the narrative continues to change. If Microsoft next year has the strongest console and every marketing deal, the media will be like, well, folks, we'd like to say Sony won. Why is that? Because Sony has ONY, and those same letters are in money. So, frankly, we got to give it to Sony. They're the money makers, people.
I mean, to your point, Mooch, though, like what third-party deals are going to be coming out next year? There's not going to be another Destiny 2 next year. There's not going to be another Red Dead 2 next year. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
well, here's the thing. You know, GKB. First of all,
that it's not
awesome,
GTA?
awesome question to poise. It's an outstanding question because you can stump the audience, you can stump the panel because that's a good point. But let's be honest. At E3 last year, we didn't know we'd be seeing Red Dead 2. We didn't know that we were going to see, there was things you didn't know were coming too. And now all of a sudden everyone, because Call of Duty, that's coming like the sun rises. You know what I mean? We know that's happening. Battlefront 2, we knew that was coming, but we didn't know when.
Hey, next year could be a Battlefield game because aren't they coming out every couple of
crap? Let's not put the audience to sleep, please.
Okay. Right. Well, hey, you know what? Speaking of the audience, there's 750 people watching. Thank you guys. If you would be so kind as to hit the like button and show these people some support because they're doing a hell of a show tonight. Everybody's in it. And,
I'll just leave it off and say, hey, Microsoft bought the marketing rights to Titanfall 2, and look how that worked out.
Yeah. Hey, they got marketing rights for, like Mooch said, a taco.
Hold on. Titanfall was an actual was a very decent franchise. The problem is when they created the second one, they decided to go too much like COD and fucked it up. So for them to take Titanfall was not a bad idea for them to do because that was an amazing shooter game. And the first one is still an amazing shooter game. They just need to take a campaign, the first game, put it together and make Titanfall 3, and then everyone will be happy.
Yeah. Hey, you guys in the chat real quick. The panel's not treacherous, right? Look, you can have differences of opinions, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah. Everybody here prefers Xbox, folks. Like everybody on the panel prefers.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem. They don't get we're so about Xbox and all that kind of stuff, and we want them to do good, and that's what we're kind of debating about. We're not hating either way.
Every fucking thing I own is Xbox fucking green and black. Come on, what the fuck?
And if it takes me being salty every goddamn day for Microsoft to wake up, I'm gonna do it.
That's why they calls it Xbox Nation. Even a stupid fucking hit like Cletus can figure that out. So if you don't like it, you know where the hell you can stick the sunshine. Where it don't belong.
And now you got to go out and run the tractor, right?
The tractor, man, I fired that shit up. I'm going to fucking farm me up some marketing deals. I'm going to get my ride for us to that farming simulator in 2017. Yeah, that's the shit.
You get Farming Simulator 2015, which is probably a lot like 2017.
But I mean, as far as E3 goes,
I'm still waiting for some of that moonshine, please.
I got lots of that moonshine. I can haul my pants down right now, honey, and you'll see a moon enough.
Wow.
Damn.
Hey.
But yeah, about E3, I hope everything I said is completely and fucking utterly wrong, and Microsoft shits on my face and fucking says, "Here you go. This is what you wanted." I hope that fucking.
But you would rather be wrong than.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Come on, I think at the same time, us as fans, we got to stop saying it's okay, Microsoft. It's okay, Microsoft. It's been 3 years, and if they don't deliver, it's not okay, Microsoft. And you gotta start speaking up about it.
That I'm gonna
give. Is right. If you just keep brushing things off, that's
okay. That's what Sony fans do.
I mean, eventually you're gonna have an issue, right? But that's just how it is, right? I mean, look, a good example of that is I'll even go to another Microsoft product, the Windows Phone, right? People came out, had a hardcore following. I mean, true, it wasn't big. Obviously, it wasn't iPhone or an Android or a Galaxy or a Samsung, whatever. But it did have a pretty core following, including myself originally. And
now he's an iPhone
eventually,
man.
Well, yeah. Well, I did buy it. I am using an iPhone now.
Fair purposes.
But I mean, basically, at this point, everybody at the end of the day, they were losing apps. Apps are coming out just for Android and iOS, and then people were like, "That's okay. I don't need this app. That's okay. I don't need that app." Now, look, all of a sudden, you got nothing. Fucking things might as well be a fucking.
It still has an Instagram.
A flip phone.
It still has an
much as it can do.
It doesn't even really have Instagram. It's got an Instagram beta. It's got no Snapchat. It's got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got to be honest with you. I think Hellhammer made a hell of a point there. That's a good point. If they're just going to keep sitting on their hands, and GKB said it a second ago, so I'll give him credit. He says this is it. This is the third year. Okay, I mean, everyone made really good analogies. Crap had one in a video a couple of weeks ago, or it was last week's Xbox Nation, where he said when you're a fan of a sports team and you get new management, when you get a new head coach or you get a new general manager, you've got to give that person 3 years when they come in. After 3 years, if they're still not winning, then the person you hired also has the wrong formula. In this case, that's not how this works, because Phil's not going anywhere. Aaron's not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere, because what I said earlier, and nobody has to like what I said, but they're making money for the company. They're just not doing it the way we want them to do it. And frankly, I don't think they give a shit. And I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, GKB and I know GKB has that kind of a position. I know a lot of people in the audience have that kind of position. When you go sit every week at your meeting and you have to brief your boss on money, financials, and they want to see that chart with the arrow going up, as long as that arrow is going up, nobody's like, oh man, you didn't lock down Battlefront 2? Yeah. Nobody says that in a board meeting. So, they may say, how come you didn't lock anything down if the arrow's going down? But the thing is that I think they're doing just fine with their investments. It's just that we don't care about their investments.
No.
Now,
and I think that's the point that I was trying to get at, right? Though, like, that's all fine and good, but again, if Microsoft, if they're not investing that back into the consumers,
right,
as us being gamers, or the same way with like when we buy a Windows product, right, and then 3 years down the road, whenever Microsoft releases a new version, they're taking that money and investing it back into the consumers to give them better features, give them better access to things, better to that, give them games, whatever. Yeah. Then what's the point of us staying on the platform at that point, right? Like, if you're not giving back to your consumers, eventually something's got to break.
Right.
Yeah, well, you don't want to turn into the apathetic PlayStation fans where they're just like, everything's great. You know what I mean? Because that's not a way to improve your platform, or, you know what I mean? There's a proper way to kind of go about it, and I think that's what Microsoft fans. But the problem is, some aren't like, and I get this too, like, if I come out and say something's wrong with Xbox, I'll have a bunch of people pissed off at me, but hey, it kind of is what it is.
Look, I mean, I'll point out a problem no matter what. Even though I like the console and that's my preferred choice for the game on, I mean, it's like, I'll come out if I have an issue, I'll come out and say it.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. When I was having trouble with my Xbox One and I thought it was bricked and stuff, I complained about that a lot. It's one of those situations where it's up to us to kind of do that, and they listen to the feedback and hopefully do it. But at the same time, remember when Phil took over, he was like, I'm in it to win it one year. And then the next year, he's like, the best place to play, games. And now it's like, what is it? What's the tagline now? Like, I don't know. It's like, so I would like to see them kind of show it off, because remember when all the games, when they decided to go to PC with all that stuff and everybody's like, including Microsoft, it just is a potential for us to make more money, to make more games. And we're kind of still waiting on that as well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you do eventually have to have that payoff. You can't just go like I've seen Tim Dog, and I love that dude. He's awesome. He's on BGST, cool guy, and he's like not expecting much this year. But he's already like hyping up 2018 E3. He's like, because that's where the game should be. And I'm like, Tim,
it should be now.
Don't even fucking say it, because this is the year. This is the third year. Phil's already been in the office for 3 years. His vision, games take about that long.
Scorpio, his games, all that stuff.
Yes.
That's what this one should be about.
Yes, Scorpio and the Xbox One S were his babies. He should have game babies as well, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, he should have shit out there ready to go to show off what he's all about, and not just,
Yeah, well, as long as the companies that you hire to make said games get their fucking shit together and actually start producing stuff. That's the first thing.
I agree. Like, look, Microsoft makes a ton of money. They could own the Hitman IP and the fucking developer for $52 million. That's nothing. They paid $500 million for the Gears IP.
They threw that away on Scalebound. Like, come on.
Look, Microsoft, they threw away. Microsoft flops and flounders when it comes to picking up things, right? Like, they did some good purchases as a corporation wise with like LinkedIn, Skype, and that sort of stuff. But they've had multiple chances to buy major things. I mean, look, the major thing that Microsoft missed out on was buying AMD. Right? I mean, boom, they wanted some piece of the profit of everything made. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, are they not picking their franchises by spinning the Wheel of Wonder?
Well, they hit a whammy there. I don't know, but you know what? Look, to those that are like, "Oh man, you guys are too blah blah blah," whatever. This is the thing, right? E3 is coming. We're less than 2 weeks away. I think the mic drop moment, like when people are like, "What's Microsoft going to do?" I think $399 Scorpio is the biggest thing ever in the history of E3. Like, if they can pull that off, then I think people just got to shut the hell up. because that's
you know what's funny?
Point.
Everybody says like, "Oh my God, we're salty. Oh my God, we're this." Would you guys rather us just be boring and be like, "Yes, we love Xbox, everybody. We love the Pro, everybody. Please share. Give your heart to everybody. Care and share, guys." No.
Like every move a right one, right? Like, no, that's not how it works. People have different opinions. We're all Xbox fans. We all want to see them do the best. But at the end of the day, Microsoft has to step up and make sure that they nail it and knock it out of the park. Now, it can be acceptable if they're like, hey, we had a budget. We lost a bunch of money with Scalebound and Fable Legends. We're still recouping that. So we couldn't get marketing deals this year, but we are able to give you a 4K fucking console for $399. I think that makes everything all right because they're still going to have some stuff to show on stage. It's still, I'm thinking Splinter Cell, Assassin's Creed, Borderlands 3
makes a step in the right direction. I don't think it makes everything.
We're also going to have whatever Bethesda's releasing.
Shadow of War, yeah, like Evil Within 2. You're a big fan of that, GKB. If you see that, right? I mean, that's going to be a big one for you. I think they're going to tie in a lot with the Bethesda show. That's why they jumped ahead of Bethesda on Sunday. Because
I mean, look.
Okay, hold on. I want to say something. I thought it was hilarious how Microsoft is like, oh, yeah, we are going to start E3. This is it, guys. And then EA's like, oh, guess what? We're going to go on Saturday. So.
Yeah, well, the EA Play stuff, right? But, like, yeah, I mean, that is kind of lame, but whatever. But here's the thing, right? There's even rumors that Fallout something's going to come out. Not the VR. I get that. But there was another developer, the same developer that made Fallout New Vegas, was supposedly working on another Fallout game. And that could be one of the ones that gets announced. And that could have marketing rights with Microsoft and Scorpio. Imagine that.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, Todd Howard was on the Scorpio reel, so he's
a big Xbox dude. Come on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it makes sense with Bethesda because look where Bethesda made all their money at, right? Like Skyrim sold on 360, like what is it, like almost like a 2-to-1 originally on that. Not only that, but I mean, Bethesda's always been about having access to power.
Obsidian, thank you, Lavitz. Yeah, Obsidian supposedly was going to make a Fallout game. I forget what it's called, but also somebody also pointed out Project Dylan, which is BioWare's new thing. That is going to be at Microsoft's E3 as well. So they could have some pretty big things to show off at E3. Maybe not as big as, well, look, Red Dead's not going to be at E3. They've already said that. So Sony will just have like the Call of Duty, Destiny, that kind of stuff. That's a bit of a cool thing, in my opinion, that Microsoft kind of dodged that bullet by not having. I don't think Rockstar does E3. They're too cool for that. Like, I mean, they've already said, hey, it's not going to be there. You know what I mean? So I do think that that's kind of cool. Microsoft, anybody that doubts what Microsoft is doing, here's what I heard. And again, I'm not going to give away, I don't know the name of the game. I heard, a lot of people were asking me, what have you heard, Crap? I heard an adventure game, a AAA first party. But again, first party, and I asked and I haven't heard back, could mean that it's a second party, because Microsoft considered Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break first party, even though those were made by second party and they don't even own Sunset. So I don't know 100% yet. I might be getting some screenshots and a name, which I'm not going to share, although I would be a little bit pissed off if other people leaked this, not you guys, but someone else, and I didn't. Like, you guys see how I'm conflicted here, right?
Yeah, I see. I hear you.
Like, I would want to very much, well, I could never share screenshots because that shit would get taken down, but I could go, hey, here's the name of the game. But all I can say is I heard adventure game. Also, somebody's going to go out there trying to push that 343 is making a game, and I've heard that's complete bullshit.
Nope.
They're saying that 343 is making a game that's not Halo. That's bullshit.
343 isn't in the middle of any projects. I actually 343, mostly what their head developer and stuff was working with, they're working with like AR and VR stuff right now, as far as I'm aware of. Hey, a friend of mine knows somebody, and I mutually introduced over social media to one of the I talked to him the other day, actually.
What's that?
I was talking to one of the head developers at 343 because a friend of mine knows them.
Well, you heard it right there. Hellhammer knows 343 people.
Well, no, I mean, like, through a mutual friend or whatever. So I asked if, whatever, we're talking back and forth or whatever. They're working on VR and AR stuff right now.
Yeah, I had already known about they got some kind of mixed reality Halo thing going on, and I already kind of did a video about that. They'll probably have Forza 7, some kind of Halo thing, Doom VR, Fallout 4 VR, like to show off in their thing. That's pretty much all but confirmed.
Well, you just mentioned all those things, Crap. There's also the possibility that we see a Fable reboot.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm 99% sure of the Fable thing. Like, we're going to get a teaser for that. Also, this new adventure game that possibly is taking the space at the end of the show that they're going to show off. So there's that. Also, our good buddy Ray Barada just tweeted us something. Apparently, Sony's annual report that they spend $120 on third-party deals. That's a lot of money.
How much? What was the number? 120 million?
120 million US dollars a year on third-party.
You said $120. I was like, what? The fucking Sony.
No, 120
Sony
million.
like here's $120 and like
no.
Fucking half the company.
Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, you just sat here for about 5 minutes, and don't get me wrong, a lot of it's speculation. But you just listed off a bunch of things that are up for grabs. GKB said a while ago, hey, what the hell's coming next year? You just named like 10 games.
Yeah, well, you know, because there's a lot more than just like Destiny, Halo, and
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
you know what?
And let me say one thing here, Hellhammer, real quick. Here's my point. My point, going back to the original subject, was I'm going to go ahead because someone in the chat was like, "What do you think? Every consumer is not intelligent?" Let me give the consumer some credit. This has all been Battlefront 1 came out this generation. Destiny came out this generation. Call of Duty comes out every year. And there you go. So you have those two games. I was going to say Red Dead, but Red Dead's not coming this year. You take those two games that everyone's like, oh, my God, Microsoft should have got one of those. They really should have. Oh, my God, I can't believe they didn't do that. Those are games that were really big for Sony to lock down the first time because they were new to this generation. People were like, oh, my God, it's something completely different. These now everybody knows that Battlefront and everybody knows Destiny and everybody knows that Call of Duty is going to be on Xbox. So what I think Phil's saying is take a look at what we're giving you in our first party. We're going to really flex our muscles for Scorpio. Look at how amazing all our third-party games look, way better than they're going to look on our competitors' platform. And you know that we're going to get them. So we know that. That's what I'm saying. A lot of that 120 million is just to offset what the hell Scorpio. And I said this, and I'll never get credit for it. It doesn't matter. I said this many, many moons ago. I said, if I'm sitting there at an investor's table for Sony, and you're talking to me right now, now we know the number because of Ray Barada, $120 million, I would sit there and say, but last E3, Yoshida, you showed me all those games that you have coming to the PS4. Where are my first-party games? They're not ready. Okay, then here's the 120 million because you have to do something to combat Scorpio.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is, and this is my point to GKB, they're just coming attractions. You're not getting all of those in one lump sum. So my point being is Sony really is just fooling people. They're fooling you. They're going to give you 1 or 2 games a year. Microsoft's doing the same thing. This holiday, you're going to get Crackdown. You're going to get Forza. You're going to get State of Decay 2. You're going to get maybe Sea of Thieves. That's my whole point is that Sony showed you everything in one shot. Where's all their first party? How come no one's doing that? Where's Sony's first party games? They're not coming this fall. They're not. God of War was delayed. Everyone's, oh, sure shit, God of War 4 is coming. Well, your shit's backed up because it's not coming. Yeah. And that's the other thing. That game by Kojima, see in 2019, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He takes a long ass time.
Days Gone might come at the end of this year, or that could get pushed until late spring next year.
They should rename it to Death God Stranded.
Oh, I mean, my point here in the long-winded rant is that it's apples and apples, people, but we're all just giving Sony credit. Sony's great. They're great. They got Battlefield 2 marketing rights. Like, I understand that maybe the casual walks into...
I hear what you're saying, Mooch, but at the same time, like, next year Scorpio isn't coming out. This year Scorpio is coming out. And that's my point is, like, they need that for Scorpio that's coming out this year, not next year. Like, I mean, I don't know how else to say that. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if Microsoft had these rights to some of these games with Scorpio coming out as well, it kind of would be more of a soft reboot for the brand as well as the system.
There's no doubt what you guys are saying, okay? Like, whether you're hungry or not, if someone's like, I got an extra patty here, you want it on your burger? Yeah, throw it on. If I don't want it, I won't eat it. What you guys are saying is fluff, and fluff is always better when you're on stage. I get it. I really do. But I'm saying to you, right? But what I'm saying to you in the long run is Microsoft's gamble is they don't need it. They don't need it. Because when it comes down to it, okay, even when everyone's got PS4s, one friend has a PS4 and an Xbox Scorpio. When they see it on Scorpio, the thing is they're going to go, holy shit, I want to play it on that. And the equivalent to that is if somebody has a 720p TV and somebody has a 4K TV. Like the guy who's talking to you with the 720p TV, he's like, dude, I don't care about your 4K TV. I can give two shits. I can see everything in my fidelity. Everything's great. My cable comes through in 720p. I don't need your 4K nonsense. The minute he comes over and sits down and watches you stream Netflix in 4K, the son of a bitch leaves and goes right to Best Buy. Like, that's the way it is. So Microsoft's gamble is, hey, it works for TVs. Hey, it works for all these other people. I think seeing is believing. And let's not forget, everybody has Total Recall. Everybody forgot 2013 to 2016, where Microsoft had these other deals. And people were like, yeah, I understand there's exclusive content. I'll just wait. I'm going to get it on the PS4. It'll look better. I mean, some people did that with Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I mean, but the big difference between the two is, right, is that was coming off the gate from Microsoft already having flopped and floundered around from their launch to where everybody was already dead set now that they absolutely know that the PS4 was the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. And I mean, I get your point, Mooch, like about the gamble and stuff, but man, that's a big gamble to push for like a new console that you're launching this year that's, touted as the best console. And I agree with it. It'll do 4K 60 all day long. And I agree with that. But I mean, for me, if I was like Phil Spencer, I would have, I have a hard time believing that these didn't come past his desk and he's just like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know what? Let's just throw these out of here. I don't need that for the Scorpio. That to me just doesn't make sense. Like me, if I was Phil Spencer, I would have at least locked up 2 of these, especially with Scorpio coming out.
Like Cliffy B wanted $20 for Lawbreakers, and Phil was like, "You want how much?" And was like,
"No, bro."
Like, no, I was willing to go 14, 20. That's way.
Maybe 5. He was willing to go 10 plus a slice of pizza left over from the previous night.
Yeah, and then Phil was like, "Yeah, that's too rich for my blood, there, guy." You know what I mean? I do agree, but look, She-Wolf, GKB, Noof, Mooch, you guys are all going to be streaming Scorpio shit in 4K. So I mean,
absolutely.
That's going to be the thing. Like that, I think that is the thought. People like, even though it pisses me off and pains me to say it, Boogie, Angry Joe, Rad Brat, all these guys are going to get Scorpios. Right, and they're probably all gonna play games on them like a lot of the time. I get that some of the early content might help out a bit with some of these things, but you still are gonna have some of these content creators went with PS4 simply because the PS4 versions, quote unquote, looked better. Even when Microsoft had content first, like the Division, you still see PS4 versions of that more often, even though Xbox got content first, just because it looked better supposedly on PS4. Now I can't see it, but some people see it. You know what I mean? So I still think we're still going to see a big flood and influx of people playing Scorpio versions of games. And I think that's going to help out Microsoft tremendously.
I think for me, I was just kind of hoping that Microsoft with the announcement of the Scorpio last year, that they were going to kind of do the whole Phoenix Rising thing here and kind of reboot the brand completely because they already kind of soft rebooted it with the S and all this other stuff and like
which they did well with that, but then they get beat out by the fucking Nintendo Mini, and you know what I mean?
And then after that thing sells so much, Nintendo's like, we don't need the print money, we cancel.
Yeah, I mean it's like
this thing that cost us $3 to make.
I don't understand some of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird. You know what I mean? Like the amount of Xbox fans that are kind of losing faith. Like nobody in this panel is losing faith in Xbox, but
I don't even think like the fans are losing faith, bro. I just think like this is the year that Microsoft needs to deliver, and they want to see them deliver. Like I don't think they're losing faith at all.
Yeah, I mean I'm not losing faith. I mean, look, I just dropped $300 on a Slim, basically. Because I was like, I can't go without an Xbox any longer.
After he broke mine and broke yours, you're like, yeah, let me go buy a Slim.
This is the time to make a good. This is the time for Microsoft to make a good first impression. You know what I mean? This is like I said, this is the make or break point now. You're halfway through the gen. And again, it's about setting yourself up for the next gen when it does come, like to be in a position where you're winning back fan trust, that sort of thing, the loyalty, where not only do you have your fans on your side, but you do have, great publishers that want to do business with you, and you're giving them the right tech, and you're helping them with the development in their games and stuff like that. And that's where they need to go, man. It's just about all around being a a solid company, and hopefully they're on the right track to that. And I think we're going to see a good E3. I really do. I mean, that's all, again, it's subjective, right? Because what one person might think was a great E3 from Microsoft, someone else could sit there and go, well, I thought it was absolute garbage, right? Yeah. And that's just the way it's going to be. It all depends on what you think or hope you're going to see. You know, like for me, I'm happy if they come out and they say, hey, Fable's going to be there. I'm fucking stoked because I love Fable, you know, and just seeing the Scorpio hardware, I'm stoked for that too, you know?
I think Ray Barada said, he's just writing to me and GKP. Is, you know, he made a good point, and I was going to say it earlier. I mean, I'm almost positive we can all sit here and agree together that Battlefront 2 wasn't on Phil's desk, and he was like, nah, pass. You know, like I think he made decisions which we'll never know until he writes his memoirs when he's not president anymore. Okay, we'll never know what's going on. I mean, you find out some great things about like leaders in history, right, of all different countries, like 20 years after they're out of office, when you can't point the finger at them anymore. Like Seamus Blackley is a great example. He's an awesome guy. He completely speaks his mind. But that's because he's so far removed right now. He's like, come at me, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so good for him. But like Phil will do that at one point too. And the thing is Phil's investing and has his money set on certain subjects. I don't think he just blew away third-party marketing rights. I think they're seeing something that we don't know about. Listen, Microsoft was completely ahead of the ball game in 2013. TV. F you, Microsoft. You don't know what I want. Fast forward 3 years later. PlayStation View, I'll take 2. You know, like, I don't understand, like, everything that they said. DRM, digital games. This is where we're going. F you, Microsoft. This is how I trade a game. 3 years later, PlayStation 4 Pro, where digital's homegrown. And it's like, everyone's like, all right, sign me up. And I'm like, now Microsoft is like, okay, we're putting money into Mixer, we're putting money into 4K streaming, and blah, 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 and we're going to give you the power you want. And everybody's like, wait a minute. I don't get that poster with Battlefront 2? F you, Microsoft. And I'm like, we know these games are coming. We have them. You're going to play. As a matter of fact, Battlefront 2, one of the 2 games that are in major question, you're playing a week earlier for 10% off. As a Guido, that's what I want. That's a deal, baby.
Professional.
Okay, that's a deal. That's how you mooch. Like, if I'm like, can I get marketing rights? No. Well, undercover, can I just get it a week early and 10% off? Yeah, all right, here you go. Meet me here. All right, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. So, like, you can't beat what you're getting. And at the end of the day, it's a better product.
Hey, I agree with you. Like, they are going to get some cool stuff. Like, even though they lost like the FIFA rights and things like that, I agree. Like, they're going to be able to show that you're still going to be able to play it first. So I think that's going to
lost the rights to the FIFA side as well. What the fuck?
Exactly, bro.
That's that, you know, and here's the
biggest
thing,
fucking
right?
sports game that EA makes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, right? Like, I'm not a fan of
that
soccer.
was shocker. That was a shock.
But that is a huge game to have for Microsoft to have marketing rights for, right? Like, you know how many of those FIFA bundles jumped off the shelves? Probably quite a few.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, well, now they're not about that life anymore. They're about the hobo life.
Yeah. All the marketing deals, that is the one though that really gets me the most. Just like, because they've had that on lock for so long, it was just like, it was almost like an instantaneous partnership. So like, something's definitely changed in the camp somewhere. Like, to just kind of lose all the major players, just there's something weird, man. Something I don't understand. But
that's a good point, Noof. Great point. Like, something is off there. Either they have a completely different plan and something different is on the agenda that we're going to be like wowed, or maybe Microsoft's getting shut out. I don't know.
You know what? That's a good point, Mooch. And I brought this up in the past as well. The problem is that Sony has announced that they've shipped out 60 million PS4s, and Microsoft has announced that they've grown year on year 4%. With ham sandwich eaters playing Xbox Live. Like I said, it's a million times, right? That doesn't look as good to a publisher, right? Hey, let's go. Who are we going to go with? Like 4% increase year on year with ham sandwich users, or are we going to fucking go with somebody that has said they got 60 million consoles out there, right? It's like, it's an easy choice. So you do see some of that. But again, some games, some very cool games look like they're going to be advertised by Microsoft. Like I said, Borderlands is a big franchise. That Shadow of War game,
Crap,
looks fantastic.
Can I bring something up real quick? We had Digital Foundries in the past 3 years, you know, illustrate Grassgate. You guys remember Grassgate,
Capital
right?
Foundry will be pushing out a
GTA
lot of
5.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But hear me out. What Microsoft's saying and what me and GKB were talking about earlier, and I'm thinking is a decent gamble on Microsoft's side, is you needed Grassgate to show the difference between what GTA 5 was going to do on PS4 versus Xbox One. Okay, you know the little seedlings under your feet where you're walking playing the game that nobody ever noticed. What I'm saying is Phil's third tweet in as much as 3 weeks saying we are confident that when you look at the two, this won't be Grassgate. This will be day and night. And that's what I'm saying. So this is something huge. And somebody in the chat was like, Mooch, you got to understand, this isn't about the hardcore. It's about the casuals. I couldn't agree with you more, sir. Okay? Let me tell you right now. Here's my point. When a casual looks at two screens, they're going to tell the difference. When you have the head of Xbox,
here's the problem with that though, like Mooch, like they're gonna be looking at two screens and they're gonna be Sony's marketing all over those screens.
What? I don't know what marketing you guys do. Would you guys, when you guys walk into your GameStop, do you get tripped by a guy wearing a Sony shirt?
Dude, every time I go into a GameSpot, there is like
pretty much. I'll say this, right? When I get, as soon as I walk into any of the GameStops in my area, all up in the front of the building, all the windows is PlayStation products.
Right, but then there's a TV.
The casual is not the hardcore. He doesn't know the difference between all that kind of stuff.
Right, well,
all he sees is the marketing and saying PlayStation all over everything. He's like, well, I must have to have a PlayStation.
Yep. And it's not even that, right? Like I walk in there, then all that same stuff is in there.
You guys do realize that GameStop is hurting, like they're gonna go out of business. Like you do realize that, right?
Yeah.
So like eventually it is gonna come.
Tomorrow is the problem.
They're not going out of business tomorrow. They're not. They're really not. But the writing was on the wall for Blockbuster and the writing's on the wall for GameStop.
But isn't that the same though for like Walmart and Best Buy? Like pretty much any like place that actually has.
No, because when you walk in, you guys all know this. Anyone's walked into Walmart or Target recently, there's just a massive green aisle and a massive blue aisle. There's very little marketing going on in those two stores.
Well, no,
they sell a lot of games, but it's very little marketing.
Here's the thing,
not like GameStop.
I agree with you a little bit there, Mooch, but here's the problem. When you go into GameStop or Walmart, they got the fucking old Xbox, like half a Xbox One in the display. It's like the real shitty one. It's like they don't even got an S in there. What, Microsoft can't fucking be bothered to send an S out to these people to show us?
Not to mention, half the times the Xbox displays aren't working. Like I like just the other day,
that's
right?
all
like,
the displays, though.
Oh yeah, I know
what you mean. Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised you don't walk into a store and they still don't have a 360 running with a Kinect demo.
That's not get that right. It doesn't. If you walk into the store, the demos go down because they run 24/7, whatever. I mean, the only ones I ever see up are the PlayStation ones, oddly enough. Yeah. But every store I've been to, because I just recently, when I was looking for something, I forget what the hell it was I was looking for, but it was some damn game, and I was just going around different places. I stopped at the Toys R Us. I stopped at a couple different places. And, all the Xbox stuff was basically, like, busted down and, like, sitting in the corner. And the PS4 stuff is all just out there, nice looking with look at advertisements and that sort of thing.
You'll see more blue in a GameStop than a fucking Smurf gangbang. I mean, come on.
Wow.
Hey,
she went with the perfect wow. That was great.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Wow. I mean, don't get me wrong. You guys are making great points. I think that.
But this is where you're wrong.
No, I think you guys are making great points. For some reason, I'm giving a little bit more credit to everybody's eyeballs. I just think that seeing is believing. I don't care. You can have all the street signs in the world that say pizza's better on the left side of the road, pizza's better on the left side of the road. And you walk into the one on the right and it's glistening and it looks better. I'm buying that one. I don't care where the signs are. And maybe I do walk in and buy the left one first, but eventually I will go and try the other pizza. And Microsoft apparently doesn't care if you own a PS4. I mean, they promote it half the time. So what they're saying is when you're done looking over there, check out our better shit over here. And I think eventually they're going to get a lot of PS4 players to come and buy a Scorpio.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny you mention that because as we know, Rand Al Pony got his PS4, right? And so Mikey Barra tweets out, yeah, everybody should have everything, right?
Right.
I mean, you got people message me about that, right? I'm like, look, Microsoft, I don't really think they look at Sony as a competitor or whatever. Like, who cares at the end of the day? Like people can play what they want, whatever the hell they want to play on, that's fine. But I still think that they're going to have a strong narrative this E3 that says we've got the best platform to play. And I heard, like Jez had mentioned it before, that they are going to have gameplay to one of these big games on their stage.
Well, I would hope that
I would hope to have gameplay for every goddamn game.
Right, absolutely.
And I would also hope that Microsoft steals up some sort of deal with CD Projekt Red.
I mean, that's a good possibility. They did Witchers.
Yeah. Because we got Cyberpunk 2077 coming out.
Yeah.
Well, I listen. I don't know if this has got any legs. You have to ask Crap, the infamous leak master. But I mean, I do think we're going to see the new Tomb Raider at Gamescom.
Yeah, I think that might be timed exclusive from Microsoft as well. You know, maybe, or like at least marketed with Microsoft heavily.
Right, one or the other. Yeah, and I mean that's a big deal too. So you know, you talk about even if they get out of Crap, all Crap's examples were hypotheticals, but if they get 2 of those plus their first party games, plus this new AAA adventure game, quote unquote, whatever that is, and they're going to show something else too, and then you have that in Gamescom. I mean, that's equivalent to Battlefront 2, which everyone's going to play, and then that's also equivalent to COD, which everybody's going to play. Like it's I don't understand.
That's not like my argument, Mooch. I think Microsoft is going to have an E3. I think the problem is they're going to be having the Scorpio, and they're not going to have these big marketing things to push the Scorpio. Like you just said it like a little while ago, like how, you know, Microsoft might be getting like the Shaft or whatever with these marketing deals and stuff. Well, how do they bolster that, and how do they fight back? They need more consoles in the market. They need more people buying it. That's the problem. Like they have another awesome like device that they're going to be pushing out there, but nothing to back it up. But maybe some of these like really good games, I'm not saying they're not going to have anything good. They're just not going to have those big titles for the year to be like, wow, here you go.
You know what, though? They could have Cyberpunk as well. That's a game that
I think they probably do have that.
Yeah, that's the game that people are really kind of looking forward to. Well, also, somebody just tweeted me. Hold on, real quick, Helmer. Somebody tweeted me this. Sony, Sega, that is, had a press release about the stepping down of their COO in Europe. And they actually mentioned some stuff. The business has gone from strength to strength with Sega Europe acquiring 2 new studios, forming all new pillars in Relic Entertainment and Amplitude Studios, in addition to acquiring Crytek Black Sea, now Creative Assembly, Sofia. Huge partnerships have been signed with Microsoft, Wargaming, and ELEX to license existing IP, release new IP, and build new franchises. So they specifically mentioned Microsoft has a new partnership with Sega, and Sega, as you guys know, is investing $500 million. They announced that a couple weeks ago to put out new IP and to do sequels to existing IP. So maybe there is something going on with Sega and Microsoft that we don't know.
Trying to make a comeback here, man. They're
they did say that they are going to make a comeback. Yeah, so
Sega's been trying to rebrand themselves and become another big developer. Like, I mean, that's why they're redoing the Sonic games. That's why there's a big rumor going around that Sega's going to be coming out with some kind of game service type thing, whether it be for consoles or
another
PC.
service.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm guessing this is probably more towards mobile stuff. There's been some leaks because I follow Sega because I've always been a fan. There's been some leaks, I guess, where like you buy you pay a small dollar value every month, you get them on your phone and like a PC and the console or whatever, and you can play them wherever. Like,
Jay Sense 79. Yeah, I just read that on Twitter. Their COO in their call or whatever just said that. Like I was just reading that, like an excerpt from that. It's pretty interesting that they have a partnership with Microsoft. So. We don't know. That could be something that we see on stage. There's lots of things that come out that we don't know.
To throw that out there as well, right? Like that's actually a pretty good deal. That's actually a pretty big deal, right? Because that's I mean, Sega's a very westernized, but they're still a Japanese developer.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because Sega and Microsoft had pretty tight ties when you go way back to the OG Xbox. If you remember closely, Shenmue 2 and Sega GT, if I recall correctly, never did come out for the PlayStation 2. They were on Xbox exclusively.
Same with Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio. So they have a history there, and for however it works. I just want Sega to stop making shitty Sonic games and get back to making stuff that matters, like fucking Shelby and stuff. Come on,
that Sonic Mania game looks awesome.
Hey, Sonic games are for kids, right, She-Wolf? Come on.
I think the last good one I played was it Sonic Episode 4 or whatever it was, that like 3D, 2D side.
That new Sonic looks pretty good though, man.
I like the new one. It's a Sonic. What's it? Not the
really
not the 2D one. The new one that's coming out in the fall. What's it called? Sonic
Mania is coming out, right?
No, that one comes out in July. That's the old school one. There's another one that comes out in August. Yeah. It looks cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to them both because I'm actually a big Sonic fan. The one that Mania comes out on Hal Elmer's birthday, so
yeah,
that'll be. He has the private or the collector's edition pre-order or something like that.
Yeah, I've had that pre-order since the day they announced it. So that's how long I've been waiting for it.
Yeah. So
there it is. Sonic Forces is the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one looks damn good as well. So yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Like there could be partnerships that we don't know about. Like people tend to freak out or think that it's all negative. No, but now if Microsoft on the other hand comes out and shits the bed, then I think that's a little bit of a disappointment in terms of what we all expect from them. Because
if you just see Scorpio on stage and then the 3 first party games we know, and that's in Assassin's Creed, and they're like, thanks guys for coming out.
Yeah, then
you're like, all right, then it's I'm where GKB is. I'm like, I gotta be, this is ridiculous. But listen, there was people last year that went to E3 and they were hanging out with Ibarra and a bunch of the guys, and they said there was just something about how they had a little bit of, I think Rand was saying it, there was a little bit about how they were just acting before the show, the night before. And the guys all had like a little bit of like an extra like kick in their step. And I'm seeing that already now. I'm seeing Phil do something he didn't even do last year when they had Scorpio in their pocket. Now like Phil's coming out saying, I'm confident, not fairly or kinda, I'm confident that we will have the best console for all games. And you have Mike Ibarra today with like holding the 4K chip and being like,
people flipped out about that,
thumbs
by the
up.
way.
Yeah, well, of course they're gonna flip out. But I mean, like, but you're seeing these guys that are normally reserved a week before, week and a half before, they're coming out of their shell, and they're not just gonna be excited that they're showing you Scorpio. We all know it's coming. Like, they can't be that. Can you believe that everyone's anticipating what we're going to call it? No, we know that it's coming. They've got something else, and we don't know what it is. And Microsoft has no leaks. I mean, by now, we knew everything last year, pretty much, except for the S.
Knock on wood, Mooch. Knock on wood,
and you know what? It's going to be cool because, like I said, how many people are going to be really happy with some of the third-party games that I mentioned, like a new Splinter Cell, Borderlands 3, maybe Cyberpunk?
Absolutely, bro. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're going to have your Forzas, your Sea of Thieves, your State of Decay 2, your Crackdown 3. Like, I'm dying to see some actual Crackdown 3 gameplay.
Right. Same here.
We haven't actually seen this
like
in
the actual
years.
story stuff.
Yeah, we saw the
really
alpha.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, we saw some alpha tech demo shit 3 years ago, but like
Right.
we haven't seen
All
shit.
over.
Yeah, we saw the building fall over. Like, woohoo! You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to see.
We've seen that like 100 times now.
I know, and then you know what I mean. So then also we so we're gonna see all that stuff, which will be cool. Maybe a $399 Scorpio. Then we're gonna see like the possibility of a Fable reboot teaser at least, and then a new IP to end it. Like, I think that would be the perfect thing for them because they also are going to be at Gamescom, and they're also going to be at the Tokyo Game Show, where I've heard they might have some deals with bringing some Japanese games over. So the 10 people that were bitching about not enough Japanese games will finally be able to pick up their Japanese game.
Well, Microsoft,
You know what I mean?
Microsoft, the Xbox is already getting the JRPG here very soon. They're getting Valkyria Chronicles, which is actually a Sega game.
There you go.
Come
what
on,
is it?
Valkyria, isn't it?
Yeah.
Valkyria. Gotcha. So they're going to get that, and I think that's
Revolution. Yeah, it comes out June 27th.
June 27th. I know you're going to be lining up to get that, right?
Not really. I mean, but
he mentions this to me earlier today, and I'm like, I couldn't even
pre-order
him. Yeah, so it's it is a little bit interesting that they are going to do that. Did you guys hear that this new PS4 updates bricking consoles?
Not here.
I did hear it on your video, but I didn't.
Yeah, and it's also apparently corrupting save data. So
that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, like that to me is worse than any of the other stuff because it's like soft bricking. It's not fully bricking. But it's
did anybody update theirs? Because I updated mine and I had no issues so far.
Well, you know what? I held off for as long as I could, and then I updated mine today, and it seems fine. But this was
I'm gonna apply the patch on mine right now.
Yeah. So I like yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like
I could lose my tens of hours of gameplay.
No. Well, you know what? Like that would suck to lose the corrupt your save files. That would be bad. You know, like that's.
I mean, has Sony put a public statement announcement out, or?
No, they don't usually do that either. So
they don't have to. Don't worry.
I was gonna start it up, but then I picked up the PlayStation controller, and even though I haven't played it, it was fully charged 2 days ago or 3 days ago. It's completely dead. So
yeah,
that's all.
You know, the worst part.
It still like uses battery, right?
Oh, but it still should die in a couple
on,
days.
Right?
Yeah, it hasn't been on in like 3
yes,
or 4
but
days.
is your PlayStation in sleep mode or is it actually in like?
Well, I mean, it's in sleep mode, but my Xbox is on 24/7, and my rechargeable battery on that I have to charge up like once every 2 weeks.
Huh. Yeah, well, that battery life in the PS4 controller has always been shit. Now you're using the shitty one that I had. That thing was terrible. Ugh. It's like the most awful. Like it literally like to play. To even get through the Order 1886, I had to charge it twice. You know, like that's ridiculous. Nobody gets the joke. Fuck you guys, man.
Sorry, Crap.
Yeah, that
That's
game's
the
like
joke.
4 hours long, and he had to charge it twice.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. Damn.
That's the joke.
That's the joke.
Where's the sounds when you need them?
I know.
I
missed that.
Good joke. Good joke.
I know. Damn. See, Noof gets it, man. Thank you, Noof. Man, damn. Come on.
That was great.
I swear to God, the two of you should just record your own laughs and then just use that as
that
like...
last laugh from Noof sounded like Goat Boy from Saturday Night Live. That was great.
sound effects when you can just record your voices.
So great. I think the worst part of E3 that we got to deal with is, I mean, when Microsoft people come out and present, you can go back and watch them, see if you can pick up what I'm picking up on. But even when Phil comes out, Phil's got like a natural, just his normal face, and he's just like, you know, hey, we are proud to say that we're going to be doing, and then he just goes off, and as he's presenting, it's like just a natural presentation. The worst part is go watch all these Sean Layden entrances to he's rubbing his hands together while he's walking out with a shit-eating grin, you know, and it's like you already know, you're like, this guy's a prick. You're like, wow, this guy, I can't wait to see what he's gonna say. Like, he just comes out there and he's like, huh? Crash Bandicoot like smeared across his face in a double XL small.
Well, he kind of reminds me of fucking Crash Bandicoot because he's got this giant melon head and sort of this small torso with a big belly and a tight shirt.
He's like, you guys all love Crash, right? And everyone's like, yeah, and like everyone likes it, right? Yeah, and everyone's like, new Crash. He's like, no, old Crash, and everybody was like, oh.
Don't knock Hellhammer's game right there, man. He pre-ordered that shit.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, God bless you, buddy.
Yeah,
I went into the GameStop and I handed my money over to the dude wearing the PlayStation shirt, the PlayStation lanyard, and the hat, and the fucking PlayStation glasses, like on this, like,
wow,
everything's fucking decked out PlayStation.
Oh yeah, the PlayStation. It's amazing how PlayStation. It's the same thing. Like I said, I walked into GameStop and I was like, "Hi, I'll take a copy of Prey." They're like, PlayStation 4, right? I was like, no, Xbox One. Thanks. Like, I mean, it's an insane thing. Like, it's so lopsided. Everything's lopsided. You got podcasts unlocked talking about the PS4, not the Scorpio. Everything's just so lopsided.
Well, I mean, the person I bought it from is actually that lopsided, though. He's actually the biggest PlayStation fan I've ever known.
Is it that damn one guy who I trolled him one time? Like we went to, I've told this story many times. We went to go pick up, I think, like Halo 4. And this is back in the 360 days. So that was when it was a big event, right? So we went to the midnight launch to pick up Halo 4. And that was the same day that Little Big Planet Carton released. And hundreds of people lined up there to get Halo 4. And he's like, what game are you here for? I was like, Little Big Planet Carton. And he's like, really? And I was like, no. Because he was like, I knew he was a big PlayStation fan. So I just like fucking with him a little bit. But yeah, you know, I agree. I think that Microsoft gets a much harder time of it than Sony does. Like, did you guys see people were flipping out because they, like, NeoGaf or somebody fucking mistakenly listed Xbox's E3 is only 60 minutes long?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Greenberg was quick to fucking come out and go, no, it's 90 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? But the fact that people are still saying, hey, that must mean they don't have any games. Or, like, I'm like looking at Infra-G and what the fuck? Here it is. Sony has a frightening amount of E3 booth space, right? And then, like, you look at the comments on this, and it's just like, well, Microsoft doesn't need a lot of space. They don't have that many games. You know what I mean? It's like, this is the shit you got to deal with. Like, people equate E3 fucking space to doing a good job at E3. Well, here's a fucking clue for you kids, right? Last year, Microsoft had more E3 space than Sony, and still people said they lost. Right? So how do you figure that one? It only fucking matters to people when it's Sony's gain. You know what I'm saying? Like, the narrative switch is enough to make you want to fucking, like, I don't know, blow your brains out or something. It's like fucking absolutely.
Careful what you say, crap.
It's like insane. Like, no. What I mean is, like, you know, it's like you want to bang your head against a wall, right? Because you see it. Like last year, Microsoft had more space, right? And everybody still said Sony won. Now Sony has more space, and everybody's like,
E3 last year was like phenomenal, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, they had a really good E3, and they only spent a little tiny bit on anything like that was hardware related. Yeah, they showed off the Xbox One S, and they showed off the Scorpio 2-minute thing at the end, but still, that's a very small percentage of the time. And Sony ended their press conference 15 minutes early, and people still were like, it was amazing. And look at the games they announced. They didn't announce anything, I think, that's really been released. If you look at it, it was like God of War, Days Gone. What was some of the other shit that they showed off? Spider-Man. None of that has been released yet. None of that stuff.
You can't judge anything by the size of a fucking booth. I mean, after all, I wear extra baggy pants, but that doesn't mean my balls are stuck onto my knee.
Yeah, good point.
No,
Fuzzy Belvedere says they showed Days Gone twice. They did 2 Days Gone things, right? Like, that is something that you have to keep in mind as well.
That's a bad move. Anybody I don't know if anyone's ever seen an E3 where they did a showing of a game and then they showed it again at the end. That shows you that they were not prepared. Either Scorpio really caught them off guard. And if Scorpio really caught them off guard, you can guarantee that the PS5 is a distance away. You know what I mean? Like, they are not ready for what this is. And to be honest with you, that's the other reason they spent $120 million on third-party marketing. They don't have anything to combat this Scorpio. They just don't. Yeah. They don't. And, you know, we've also got to look at the list of games. You know, when we got all those list wars that came out earlier this year, you do got to give credit where credit's due. Those lists are accurate. The thing is a lot of those games that came out, like Nihon and all that, they're exclusive to Sony because the Japanese developers favor the Japanese company.
I just want to point out one thing. Those lists, every time I see them, they don't ever really include the Xbox ID games, which, yes, they are indies, but there is a hell of a lot of them, and a lot of them are actually really good.
Yes.
But they don't get put on that list.
No,
and yet they're just the same as some of those Japanese titles that they announce on Sony's list. So I just want to point that out.
No, that's an outstanding point. And I mean, my whole thing is that when you look at what is actually first-party studio this year, and I'll ask GKB, because I don't want to say it, and they're like, no, Moosh, that's not right. I'm curious. No, I'm curious. What came out?
I'll tell you you're wrong all the time, Moosh.
That's right. No, you know. What's Sony's first-party games that came out this year? Horizon?
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn.
What else we got?
Nihon.
No, that's not theirs.
I like the way everybody calls it Nihon now. I think they started that.
Is Nihon their studio, or is it a double A?
No,
that's exclusive to Sony.
No, it's not a Sony first party or anything like that. So it's like, if you count their first party, they really have lackluster. I would say that Microsoft has bigger hits.
That's what I'm trying. That's where I was going with this. Yeah. It's not that they don't. Sony does have a lot more of those Japanese games because of the deals they're able to cut with Japanese developers. Okay. We don't have that kind of Western developing going on over here. And when we do, they're not in love with Microsoft because they're American. They're in love with money. So they just go everywhere, you know? Where in Japan, it's different. It's love thy country first. And that's just the way it is. That's how it is. You don't believe me? Watch that movie with Michael Keaton in the 80s they made about cars. You know what I mean? That's how and that's okay. That's actually something we could all learn is to, you know, support your country. But I mean, that's the one reason that Microsoft hasn't had that. You know, they just can't grab those games. But when it comes first party to first party, I think the Xbox has better first party games that have come out in throughout the generation.
Well, yeah, just looking at the Forza stuff and like stuff like
right. So in Motorsport, they win there, right? The Halo, whether it be Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, Gears 4, versus Uncharted 4. The Order was a bust. Bloodborne's not theirs. That's From Software, so you can't count that one. That's what I'm trying. Like, what am I missing? I don't know. Knack was a bust.
Killzone,
Little Big
8
Planet
or whatever
3
the hell that was. Yeah,
didn't even sell like 20 copies. I mean,
yeah,
like,
that franchise is probably done.
They're done. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but people look and they're like, no, but there's Neo. Neo's not Sony. Sony doesn't own it. You know, I mean, that not that I'm aware of, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But I'm saying,
no, they don't know. They don't own Neo or the Nier.
That's
yeah.
Do they own like Gravity Rush 2 and all them?
I don't know if they own that. I think that they might.
I think that one is, yeah.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be coming as well.
Is Persona theirs?
No, that's Atlas. That's
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like these games they're on Sony. Sony's cutting deals. Microsoft should be cutting those deals, but they're not Sony's. And that's my ultimate point here is when it comes down to it, when they're like, "What's Microsoft doing for me?" Well, what's Sony doing for you?
Gravity Rush and Horizon Zero Dawn are the only two that are first party.
There you go. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, is that?
I don't know if that's accurate or not. But
what does Microsoft put out this year, first party?
Halo Wars 2. Woo woo.
Yep,
yeah.
Well, that came out last year though, didn't it?
No,
Halo Wars came out this year.
Oh no, my bad. That came out like February.
Yeah, everybody just got a chance to buy it in the bargain bin on the GameFly sale a couple weeks ago.
And I mean, there's no doubt that Horizon is a better title this year. But then all of a sudden, fast forward to this fall, and now first party games. What's coming from Sony? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet. It might not be much of anything.
Might not be anything.
Yeah, it could be.
Is comical, and maybe Days Gone, which may be good.
Hold on, GT Sport is great according to Digital Foundry. They say it's a generational leap, and it's amazing, and the lighting, and the cars, and it's vroom vroom, and it's fucking.
I mean, when they showed the side by side, yeah, it's way better than GT6, but I don't think it's on the level of Forza, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna say it's a bad game though.
Would you say it's not on the same level as Forza because it's above the level of Forza?
I love Joel.
Cypherman, Spider-Man didn't come out this year, and I believe it's not coming out until fall 2018.
It could come out this year.
I think it's coming out this year.
Hey, Sony might not. Yeah, they might knock it out of the park. You never know. They might hit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to be fair about like E3 right now. We don't know really what they're gonna show on either side, and we just have to wait and see, and then go.
They could seriously come out and go, hey, we're releasing Spider-Man, God of War, we're releasing GT Sport, and and then that would be huge in my opinion.
Well, God of War we know is coming out next.
God of War is next year.
Yeah, God of War, that's more than likely.
Spider-Man's most likely next year.
Yeah, next year, or it could be this year. Because how are they going to fit?
Didn't they say they're not going to? Are they not? What did they say about? Didn't Insomniac Games make a comment about their progress?
Well, they responded to the head of Disney or whatever, saying that they were going to release that game this year, and Insomniac just said they haven't made any announcements officially. So,
right,
I would think that maybe at least one of those games is going to come out this year, like Days Gone or that. Or Spider-Man, like one of those has to come out this year, right?
I think could be a couple of them, man.
I could see Days Gone coming out because I could see them want to like put that one up against. Oh my God, why can't I think what the hell it's called now?
Didn't the God of War we talked about this yesterday. The God of War Collector's Edition leaked or something like that.
It leaked 200 bones.
Yeah,
but the release
date of January.
It's for 2018 though.
So,
but if that's just a placeholder, then that could.
I don't see God of War coming out in January. I think it's coming out like
March. They've all came out in March. But here's the thing: they might be Sony might rethink a little bit of this stuff because guess what comes out next year in the spring is Red Dead Redemption 2. So anything that goes up against there, better not release Sea of Thieves. Then Microsoft. I'm just saying you'll have a division.
Get it out now.
Yeah, get that out before that point. I'm just saying, and then we can prove Mooch wrong on that one too. Just like
yes, thank you everyone. State of Decay 2. I can see them bring out Days Gone to go up against that game in the fall.
Could be State of Decay 2. Even though Microsoft has steadily denied them doing a quote unquote launch with the Scorpio, I'd heard that Crackdown and Forza are launching day and date.
So who is getting a Scorpio on this panel then?
Me.
Everybody. I'm getting a Scorpio.
Everybody.
Well, I know I know for us, we're gonna.
Are you getting one, She-Wolf?
Well, for price wise,
I say
stuff,
yeah,
for
but she
sure.
keeps
Well,
telling me
yeah, we from a very generous viewer did actually pay for one of our Scorpios, but the second one may come in like the spring or something, depending on price.
We'll probably have to. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not trade. He wants to trade in the Gears console for it, and I don't want to trade.
That's what Mooch is
Yeah, I'm
doing.
trading that one in. That's actually the one.
God,
That's the one I have.
why?
For some reason, and just call it like I say, a lot of things in life.
He hates that one.
A lot of things in life are timing. But I've had that console. Like, it works. I use it all the time. But like every once in a blue moon, like it'll just restart itself, and then it'll do that. I'm like, all right,
Are you
I
in a
am done with
program?
you.
Are you
No,
like?
I'm ring
the insider
3.
program.
I'm ring 3, which is basically the fucking guy who gets the porridge. You know, I just got fucking gamer picks today. You guys are like, gamer picks? That was so 2015. I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm in the preview program, right? Like,
Yeah.
So no, I'm like ring 3. I like how Larry tweeted that out too. Our tier 3 and tier 4 people. It's like when you're waiting to get on an airplane, right? And you're like, I hope to God I get a good seat. And they're like, we're now seating tiers 1, 2, 4, 5. I'm like, you skipped 3. I'm 3. We said 3 an hour ago, sir. Bullshit.
Yeah, so hey, just so anybody knows, since we got so many here, man, if you guys want to help pay for my Scorpio, that's
Well, okay, so apparently I can say it. Sanjabot was the very generous viewer that paid for one of
I
our
was there
Scorpios.
watching the console corner when he did that. I was like, holy shit, man! Like Rand gets a PS4, you guys get a Scorpio. I get death threats that told the
Crap, you also, big shout out to Sajibot, but I will say this much real quick. Crap, you are getting a Scorpio as we speak. 740 live views.
Yes. Well, listen,
You
like, look,
bastard.
anytime we bring Mooch out here, that's going to increase the views. You know what I mean?
Stop
Like,
it.
oh, everybody's
Wow,
Mooch
because the rest of
maniac.
us are just shit, right?
Yeah,
They don't
I'm
even-
She will I'm in
Everybody
your
else is.
camp.
Dang.
Yeah,
Guess
no,
I'm gonna
in
have
mouth
to
right
look
now,
up
bro.
my manhood.
Foot and mouth, GKP. Absolutely. I agree with you. No, this is
Yeah.
a panel. You
Take
guys
back
are always.
all what I said in the beginning of the show. God damn it.
Oh wait, I forgot. I'm someone who can be forgotten, so I forgot.
Hey, I tried to make it so that like I always tell I'm very happy with the panel and stuff like that. I think everybody here
Tell us
rocks.
every show.
Yeah,
Thank you so
exactly.
much.
Yep, and you know what I mean, and it's good to have a steady panel. And I always, once in a while, I'll bring in a guest or something. Like Noof has really worked out well. I think when we have Mooch on as well, like Noof goes into that mode where he's a fan more than a participant. You know what I mean?
It's actually my fault. I can't even give Noof the fan thing that we always talk about. I talk too goddamn much. I apologize.
No, man. Like, look, I appreciate you coming in here and stepping in because Dealer couldn't make it. So I was like, oh, well, I probably do need one other person, and then you were gracious enough to hop in. You're like, my son's baseball game canceled, rained out.
Yeah,
And I was
it
like,
was rained out.
Well,
I was
I feel like fucking when Mooch comes in, I feel like fucking Alice from the Resident Evil movies having to try to find a way to get past those fucking laser beams. Like jumping in and out. It's like, when do I talk? And then someone's like,
You just gotta jump in, bro.
Hey, Noof, you just gotta duck and hover and just jump in there.
You do. Hey, you know what? I saw She-Wolf fans in there.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even one creepy one, but still, I
I
mean,
guess I
yeah.
offended Foxfire for some
Even
reason. I
one
don't know what I did,
creepy
but I was like, what the hell did I do? I didn't even do anything.
I'm getting more fans for Cletus nowadays, apparently.
Oh well, I mean, look, hey,
Because everybody likes. I don't know how to say it without insulting it.
hillbillies.
Well, he's like a Canadian redneck, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh,
But
see,
you'd have
Lucas
to- you'd
says
have
she's a
to-
She-Wolf fan.
You'd have to actually live in Canada to actually know the rednecks that I'm talking about. Like, you actually get serious rednecks in Canada.
Oh, do you? Oh,
Yeah, you
We
do.
live in Florida.
I was born and raised in Canada.
I know. I'm telling you, like on the west, I used to
Florida's
always
pretty-
go over to Melbourne, Florida. You guys know where that's at, right?
Yeah, bro.
Because my friend, well, long story longer, I guess. My best friend, his dad was a pastor of a church over there, so we used to always go over there and spend the weekend at the church. And then we were
What
the church
kind of
band
church
and
was
stuff.
it, bro?
It was it was a Nazarene church, right? So Yeah, so we used to go over there and stuff like that. And I would go over there, and there were people like wearing cowboy hats, and they used to go mudding and stuff. And they used to, I used to see people riding like barrels, like strung between trees, right? And that was the first time I ever saw that. There were some really, really big rednecks in there. One time I went to this bar place called the County Line to play pool, and you couldn't really play pool because everybody was line dancing and stomping. So it was like, you know, you like every time you went to go shoot, you know, like they would stomp and it would like fuck you up. It was the funniest damn thing ever. Yeah. So, oh, you know what? Jordan says, are you even excited at all for Sony's E3 that's not third-party exclusives? I like God of War, so I'm hoping that they announce something. Spider-Man looks.
I want to see Spider-Man.
I'll get that. Scorpio Paris. What's my prediction on Scorpio?
Ooh, you know what game I really want to see from Sony, and I want a release date, and that's Hellblade. That game looks amazing.
Yes.
Do I even NASCAR? No, I'm not a NASCAR fan. Sorry, bro. Like I saw turn left. You can turn left better than me.
I saw an Albertan redneck the other day jacking up his truck, and I couldn't figure out what he was boosting it up with. And I said, "Hey man, what are you boosting up your truck with there?" He's like, "I'm a little too cheap. You said to buy a jack." So what I done is I went out and bought myself 4 PS4 Pros, and I got this fucking truck jacked right up now.
That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, you know, we're all like excited for E3 and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not a Other Zinc. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 400.
700 people watching. Come on, guys, hit that like button.
Oh, Fox is upset at you, GKB, because you want to sell your Gears 4 console.
Well, that's because I won't let him sell my my 2 terabyte one.
So there you go. It's She-Wolf's fault.
But it's a day one white one. It's got a little freaking.
Honestly, we don't even have to. I mean, we could still get them both. Doesn't really matter. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. You know, we're so close on that. You guys are gonna have a lot of coverage and stuff like that too. I know, like we are too, and I'm gonna try to help you guys out as much as I can as well with that. But what do I think about gold PS4 rumor?
That thing looks interesting. I saw the pictures for that. It's like very shiny, but I want to know. It is, but I actually want to know if it's actually going to be like in matte or like a satin or not satin. What the hell is that friggin'?
Gloss.
Yeah, there we go. I was trying to think of like the shiny thing, but yeah, gloss or like a matte. Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm okay. I swear.
Like the consoles,
yeah, I would love it to actually like be like a matte finish, but something tells me it's gonna have a gloss finish. So
that means that finish is gonna chip off like that.
Yeah, like that 3PO Xbox 360 one.
Yeah, the controller. Yeah, I know. So I knew somebody who had one of those, and they barely even used the damn controller for like a couple of days, and they bought another one, but by then it was already like worn off.
Yeah, like Hellblade could come to Xbox. They said it's only timed exclusive for PS4. So
I would like to see the articles for that because I've never.
No, you can. You can. They said it's a timed exclusive. Sony doesn't own that. Yeah. Sony doesn't own that at all. It's just like a time deal or whatever. So somebody also asked about there being an Elite controller with the Xbox Scorpio. Not true. Nope. They're using a variant of the Xbox One S controller, slightly sort of like that one Covert Forces one or whatever the hell it is, that new one that Stein was showing. It's
hard to tell. Stein showed like all of them. Like
what controller are you talking about? There's like a thousand different Xbox One controllers out there.
You're all right.
No more controllers this year at E3.
Yeah. Well, Stein works at Mixer now, so thank you.
Yeah, they're gonna go out on stage today or at E3, and they're gonna be like 30 minutes to these new controllers. Let's take a look at the new design.
I know. I don't get it. They have like the design lab. You can design any controller you want, but hey, we're gonna give you even more controllers that we're just gonna fucking make. Like, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, I don't understand why they haven't just got the design lab to work, because they obviously have like the ability to print like the camouflage prints and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Why they haven't got to where you can't just customize that stuff now with like all that stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah, we had $20 million to spend on our marketing budget this year, and the little guy speaks up, is like, "Yeah, but we put like about $18 million into controller colors." Yeah,
they've got lots of controller colors. I love it. So, hey, someone says damage controllers. Get it? Damage control. Nice. Okay, so I've been informed by Mooch that we've hit the 2-hour mark. Time flies, I guess. Let's go ahead and hit some outros.
2 hours already? Holy shit.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. GKB, what do you guys got going on, man?
We're working on a new streaming thing with She-Wolf and I. We're gonna be doing like a big backlog grind, knocking out all the backlog and streaming it and doing all kinds of cool stuff like that. Gonna be on Crossfire, I think, if Mooch will have me. I don't know. We kind of
absolutely, buddy. Oh yeah, no, right? Yeah, we're not friends anymore, right?
Not friends. That's it. Once you fight on or argue or debate on the freaking podcast, it's over.
People don't realize that podcasts, that's debating, is podcasting if it's done properly.
So be on Crossfire and hopefully on Shop Podcast.
Awesome.
Nice.
She-Wolf, what do you guys got going on? Are you guys doing game night anymore?
Yeah, we're just like working to like I would like to actually do Friday the 13th this
yeah, let's do Friday the 13th because
this Saturday, but the thing we're also trying to get like all the scheduling together for the E3 shows because we're going to be doing all the live streams and all that stuff. So we're trying to get everything worked together and figure it out.
So. And listen to us like yell and scream and
yeah. So other than that though, there's actually
if they show us fucking Splinter Cell at E3's conference, you're gonna see me scream like fucking Crapgamer on Friday.
30 minutes of
no. He's not even just gonna scream. He's gonna like do the little girly hands and he's gonna like be waving them up and down and
yeah, it's 30 minutes of controller reveals.
Yeah.
Anyways, like if they let me finish my outro, so I actually have a big surprise, and it's actually pretty much officially announced here. There is going to be a show coming that will just be hosted by me and Fox. So,
Wolf and Fox.
Yeah, it's going to be called the Gaming Den podcast. So, and it'll be in the afternoon instead of the night or morning. So, hopefully, it'll be on, I believe, Mondays. So, but watch Twitter for the actual teaser, I guess, image for it.
I knew it. Yeah.
I knew it. Yeah, but other than that, just feel free to add me on Twitter and Xbox at XSheWolfX with you, not an O.
Awesome.
And I stream on Mixer. I forgot
Yes,
that.
Mixer. Not Beam, but Mixer. We didn't get to talk about that because we only talked about like 3 fucking things. But still, it was an awesome show. Hellhammer, what do you got going on your channel? I mean, that thing's hopping, bro. I tell you.
Man, that thing's got all kinds of stuff going on there. I mean, the crickets are loving it.
Yeah, like what's funny is he had 2 videos ready to go at that Scorpio thing when and then he never had them uploaded. Like,
yeah.
I was like, dude, come on.
Maybe I'll do one for E3.
Yeah, that'd be a good, perfect time. You think?
It'll be delayed. It'll be delayed just like all the rest of them.
Yeah, I'll probably have at least a 50% chance of getting one up. As an E3 reaction video or something.
Yeah, you might. That'll
be great.
You might as well.
Otherwise, not too much going on. It can be found on Twitter at XXHellhammer, Xbox Live XX Space Hellhammer, or on PSN XX_Hellhammer.
Yes, you gotta love the underscores. Yeah. Noof, what do you got going on?
Well, first off, shout out to everybody into the chat. You guys have been awesome tonight, and also a shout out to the moderators, and shout out to the people who will watch Xbox Nation on replay. So we'll start that off first. Second of all, I'll be back on Console Corner Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys, with GKB, She-Wolf, Lady Foxfire, Magic, Mike. We got a great panel. Come over and watch us there. And who knows, we may have a very popular special guest showing up Tuesday, but that isn't quite confirmed yet, but we'll see what happens. Also, I'll be back in Xbox Nation next week as long as Crap continues to want me to be here. That usually is depending on whether my mic.
They want them.
And it's usually depending on whether my mic actually sounds good or it's a piece of shit. Kind of sounded weird before we jumped on the show tonight, but it's been good so far. And all that good stuff, guys. Find me on Xbox Live at Nukem. And as well, you can find me on PlayStation Network at Noof_Nukem. All the links on my Twitter as well. So, guys, again, thanks so much, Crap, the entire panel, Mooch. It was awesome. Great show again, once again. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Noof. And last but not least, Mooch.
Thanks for having me on, buddy. Xbox Nation was lit tonight, man. It was a good show. I think the audience had a good time.
I miss you on the show because you and GKB always got this really kind of back and forth.
It is. Well, really I'm hoping to recreate that on Crossfire, but I will definitely be making a lot of spot appearances on Xbox Nation. You know, you can always ask me. You got a whole fill.
I was kind of, you know what, I felt kind of bad, but then I was like, man, I ain't got nobody else to ask. So.
No, it's all right. Actually, it worked out. I actually can tell you right now, I can picture it. Crap was actually doing a rain dance down in Florida, and it rained like crazy here.
Hey,
canceled
I'm
the
not
game.
Gonna lie, when you said your son's baseball game was out, I did a little fist pump. I was like,
I knew you did. I was like, I could feel it. He took off that little like Indian hat he had on. No, but no, thanks for having me on, guys. This was a great panel, awesome people, great friends here. Definitely can find me always on the Mooch78 on YouTube. You know, a lot of people have been subbing. It's been great. I would say almost 200 new subs in just about a month and a half. That's the highest like since I first started YouTube. I do have my review of Friday the 13th coming out tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. A lot more reviews.
Up late tonight, getting my Friday the 13th.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Crap's going to have it. It'll be out at 8 a.m.
Yeah, he's going to be up super late, right? I'm going to be like, I'm going to be trying to do something because I'm usually up pretty late, and I'm going to be like, why the hell is everything going so slow?
Hellhammer's going to be wondering why Crap's whistling the Folgers commercial. What the hell? So that'll be going on. We got that. We got a lot of streaming going on Friday nights. I'm actually going to be doing a lot more streaming. I actually enjoyed it. Like I said, on Sunday, reference to what She-Wolf was saying, like I was just gonna go pick up some footage, and I was like, screw it. Like, and first of all, anybody who has Mixer, like it has all their friends that like the minute they launch their thing, that you can see the activity on your phone. My phone goes off like crazy. It's like so and so's broadcasting, so and so's broadcasting again. The guy's at it again. Like
it's not here is broadcasting again and again
and again. Yeah. So why not? Like as people seem to enjoy it. I like to give my commentating as I'm going through, especially on games like Friday the 13th. There's something new. And then we got MNC Mornings, which is fantastic. Sunday.
Hey, we're giving away a year of EA access. All you have to do is call in on Skype and leave a voicemail, and you're on the Wheel of Wonder. It's so easy. Like She-Wolf, GKB, you guys should do it.
Yep, call in, get on there. It's a year of EA access. And then Crossfire, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Fridays. Join myself, Crap, and GKB, and then we just have a handful of usual suspects and a couple special guests. But yeah, no, that's where you can find me, and everybody knows where to find me on Twitter.
Yeah, thank you guys all for coming out, man. It was like almost 800 people watching earlier, which is really good for a Wednesday. We appreciate it. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on, so keep it locked in and hit that like button and stuff like that. Thank you guys for keeping it relatively good in the chat. And the earth is round. I just want to say that. So yeah, we'll catch you guys later, man. Be good to each other. And it's just gaming, folks. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Rack them up. Later.